Happy Saturday, Scallywags. That almost threw me for a spin. It is indeed Saturday, not Sunday, and you are seeing our wonderful faces. That's because it's MTG Final Fantasy, and as I'm sure you all know by now, I am super excited. We decided that we were going to try and chat about it with you lovely folks, and also do a little bit of tier list making at the same time. So this is a bit of a just chatting, chilled stream while I get attacked by my cat. Here she is. Hello, Pepper.
Hello, Pepper.
And so we thought we'd go into that. But I am John, if you don't know, one of the co-hosts of this chaotic bunch. And I am joined by my two wonderful sidekicks, Chrono and Martin. How you doing, fellas?
Yeah, good. Happy Saturday, all.
Yeah,
it's a bit weird to be here on a Saturday.
It's so weird. We are still streaming tomorrow, folks. With the gameplay, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, Final Fantasy is pre-release this week. I went to our LGS yesterday for pre-release, which is the first time I've done it since New Capenna. It's been that long. But I did all right. In my promo pack, I got the Sephiroth card, so I leaned very heavily into sacrifice stuff in Orzhov colors, channeling Chrono there. But if you are doing pre-release, let me tell you, Rakdos seems to be the go-to color. Like every Rakdos deck I went for, it was absolutely brutal, genuinely brutal. So we did have a schedule, but I've minimized that window, so I'm going to have to go through this off the top of my head. We are going to talk about the mechanics of Final Fantasy, and then we are going to talk about the 99 commanders that are in the main set. So we're not going to talk about the commanders in the precons, just the commanders in the main set. We're going to use a tier maker to put these in list and EDH rec to just so that we can show you the cards as well. So apart from me, Chrono, I know you've not had much dealings with Final Fantasy, but how are you feeling about this set?
No, I'm genuinely, I know very little about the Final Fantasy franchise. I've watched a couple of playthroughs, mostly like when LRR have done things. So I watched Graham's playthrough of the 12 remaster, which looked fun and interesting.
Yeah,
and a bit of his 7 rebirth or remake, like whatever those things are called.
Remake and rebirth. They are controversial games, only in the fact that I think a lot of people thought they were going to be pure remakes of 7, but if they're not, they're continuations, kind of. Yeah.
And so I'm looking forward to finding out more about the characters. I've got a couple that I have my eye on, which I hope folks will be able to tell me more. But what has actually been really intriguing is that more so than like the other Universes Beyond franchises that we've had crossovers with, because I know so little about Final Fantasy, it's been really, really edifying to see everybody else get so hype about this and just be like so wonderfully OTP, and having all of these people around to help my own enthusiasm for a set that I might have gone, I know nothing about this, I'm going to pass it up. But it looks like there are some really good mechanical interactions, and that's mainly what I'm looking at, the mechanical applications and interactions.
From a flavor point for me for this set, there are so many like absolute key flavor cards. Like I built just like within the space of maybe a week 5 decks to stream with, like just because I was so excited. And Hayram, I'm not ignoring you. I see that your crime hubby doesn't narrow it down, unfortunately. I mean, crime hubby does not narrow it down. There's a few. I've built 5 decks, and because I'm just so infused by all of these characters. Weirdly, most of them from Final Fantasy 9, which is weird because Final Fantasy 7 is kind of my bag, but 9 has some really cool card designs.
It does, and from my point of view, so I was a PlayStation 1 Final Fantasy player, and by player I mean I played disc 1 repeatedly. Because as Final Fantasy games do, and actually most Western RPGs are doing now, you play through the tutorial section, it's nicely guided, the story goes in a straight line, they throw you out of the city, and the gates open, and my, analysis paralysis sets in for me, and I reset back to the beginning.
I do that with Baldur's Gate 3. I know we're not talking about that, but genuinely, I will get to Act 2 and think, I've missed something, and then I start the game again. Yeah. It has to be perfect, and that's impossible in that game. So, haven't finished it yet.
I fully understand. Like, there is a very good reason why it took me nearly 2 years to complete Divinity Original Sin 2. Just because I kept stopping and starting and going like, well, I kind of should go back and do all of that, because I know you're supposed to play these games multiple times, but I don't think I will. So let me try and experience as much of it as I can in the one run I'm giving myself.
So ironically, when I played Final Fantasy Remake, I got to the end of that, I was like, yes, I've played Final Fantasy 7 now, this is all I know of it, I'm good.
That's, it's only Midgar. That's it.
Yeah,
it's really, it was
so
quite...
The thing is, I know stuff exists beyond that, because I have been to the Golden Saucers, but I just did not know what I was doing.
Yeah.
Because, like every person at that age, you don't read the text boxes, you skip past everything, so what are you going to do? But I'm looking forward to seeing what they've done with this.
Yeah, it's the flavorfully wise, there are so many wins on this. Zell from 8 references the junction mechanic from 8. Everybody loved the junction mechanic, I'm sure. Everybody remembers that fondly. I hated it. But...
I did. It gave you so much customization of your stats that it was really powerful. Yes, again, it led to a situation of analysis paralysis. Do I need more health? Do I need more magic? Do I need more? But yeah, it was a very different system to what we'd had previously.
Yeah. I mean, this is what gets me, because you've both got very differing opinions on this game. And I'd love to see how it has polarized you, but it is in a good way, and there is something for everyone in a Magic set that they have tried to condense 16 games.
16 games is mad.
We thought they were wild trying to fit the 4 Fallout games into 4 precons.
So you say 16. There is significantly more than 16.
16 main games.
The same goes for Fallout. There are at least 2 or 3 other games that go along with that.
True, but they didn't do Fallout Shelter or such. Although I guess they kind of referenced it or touched on it with the secret layers. So I wonder if we're going to get supplemental secret layers for Final Fantasy that would touch on things like tactics or rhythm or things like that.
Because it was the PlayStation State of Play as well this weekend, and Final Fantasy Tactics is going to be released on
there's
PlayStation.
A sequel.
Right. So they usually do tie these things in. I genuinely thought Final Fantasy 9 Remake or something about Remake Part 3 would be coming out of this, because they're the bigger games. But yeah, that's exciting as well. Tactics. Hey, Rim, you will learn so much about Final Fantasy VII, because I have so much to say about those cards. Don't worry. But yeah, 20 games, Hayram's pointed out, because of Tactics and the mobile ones. There's so many.
And then there's a couple of, side games like Dissidia as well in there.
Genuinely, I think if I was left in charge of this project, there would have been one set for each of the games, because I could just do so much. You could do sagas for key events in the game, the raid on Midgar could be a saga, or the forming of the Northern Crater, and all of that stuff. They could be absolute. Or you could even bring battles into it. There's so much you could do. But obviously, licensing and stuff definitely makes it so that they have to jam as much. Which you can see, there are definitely cards that they could have added as legendary creatures that have been missed. Galuf from Final Fantasy V is quite a key character, but from Final Fantasy V, from memory, I think it's only Boko and Bart. Maybe I can't remember if there's anybody else. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat.
No.
From Final Fantasy V, and again we'll talk about this a bit more later, they kept more about the job mechanic, because that was the biggest part of 5 was the job mechanic. No, it was done previously in 3 and 4, but it was really refined in 5, I think.
Yeah,
at least, in a way.
And then that system resurfaces then again in 11 and 14.
10-2.
Maybe,
No one talks about 10-2.
Which is I think that's one of the biggest selling points of 11 and 14. You create one character, but then you can have them take all of the different roles. So unlike other MMOs where you have to create a character that is that class and then you change character and it's another class.
Yeah.
It's the same character.
Right, well, that's quite a bit of preamble. We have not segued at all, but let's go into the mechanics of the game. So, we are looking at the Magic the Gathering Gatherer, and the first mechanic, which we briefly did touch on, was Job Select. So, Job Select is on a bunch of equipment. It's very much like Living Weapon in MTG, except from either being a 0/0 Germ or a 2/2 Rebel. It's a 1/1 hero that comes in with this equipment. These were super sick last night in pre-release, because a lot of the time you just got extra value from playing these things. So like there's a Black Mage Rod that gives you pingers for casting non-creature spells, which these are also non-creature spells. High Thornblood. Which cheeks you mean? Whichever cheeks you happen to be nearest to grasping, I guess.
And whatever orientation you happen to be in.
Yeah. We do not discriminate. So this card we've got here is Dragoon's Lance. So this is 1 and a white. An equipped creature gets +1/+0 and is a knight in addition to its other types. And during your turn, the equipped creature has flying. And I don't know why they've done this. They've included flavor text for some of the equipped cards, and I get why, but it really didn't need to happen, because there's different ones for different. There's like one for a wizard's rod that's different.
I think it's just because those are there in the game, so you know
they are. I get it,
and I think it helps as a hook for Final Fantasy fans who are coming in and may not know Magic as well. So true. Similar to the way they did the ability wording for or the flavor wording for things like Adventures in the Forgotten Realms or Battle for Baldur's Gate. It gives you a hook that you can
relate to. Yeah.
Now, I love
yeah.
I think might be my favorite mechanic in the whole set, because both know that I read and especially equipment that comes with a creature. You mentioned Living Weapon and for Mirrodin, being the previous 2 incarnations of this mechanic. It makes it so much easier and so much safer to include the piece of equipment if it comes with its own body, so you don't have to spend that first equip on. Because a lot of equipment, particularly the older stuff, has really high equip costs. Anything you can do to make it cheaper really helps in being able to them into your opportunity cost goes down dramatically.
Absolutely.
It's happening for me too.
And I also hear him. But maybe it's fine now. Who knows? Maybe it was just an internet burp. That's the technical term. Internet burp.
So, another thing you'll notice is that all of these equipment that come with Job Select, they give the creature an additional creature type as well. Which was the whole point of the job selection.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, so this one, obviously dragoons aren't a thing in Magic, but knights are the closest reference because they're basically knights that can jump really high, and the dragon knights essentially. So giving this the knight creature type and also flying on your turn is really, really flavorful. There's loads of them that are cool.
I have 2 decks that are going to be really happy about getting the knight type.
Yeah. Speaking of dragoon,
Yes,
this is another game. This is not Final Fantasy, but chat, have you played The Legend of Dragoon? This is an old game too, and also very, very good. If you like Final Fantasy, play that. That is very good also. But yeah, moving on, we have tiered cards. So these are instant cards that you can put extra mana into to get an additional effect. So the one we've got here is Ice Magic. That is 1 and a blue for an instant, and then for no additional magic mana we get Blizzard, where we return target creature to its owner's hand. For 2 additional mana, we get Blizzara. Target's creature's owner puts it on their choice of the top or bottom of their library. And for 6 additional mana, we get Blizzaga. Target's creature owner shuffles it into their library. So basically a Chaos Warp effect.
Minus the put something back onto the battlefield.
Minus to put something back, yeah. But very expensive. But it is a common, so it's going to be expensive.
It is.
Yeah.
And I like this because it brings that flavour of evolving Magic.
Yeah, I really like these. There are some that are better than others, but that's always going to be the case.
Yeah.
Like, just genuine, like, especially because you are trying to hit these right. Oh, we've lost Chrono.
I don't know if we've lost him or whether he's just trying to reshape the internet around his.
Well, whilst we wait for Chrono, we'll talk about this still.
Yeah.
So yeah, for that, if you don't know about the games, you have, generally speaking, you have starter-based Magic, which is Blizzard, Fire, Lightning, or Bolt, or whatever. And then the more you level up, you get the secondary and then the tertiary levels of those spells. The higher the level, the greater the spell.
And they always take that naming convention as well.
Not always.
Most of them.
In Final Fantasy VII, weirdly, it went Fire 1, 2, 3 rather than Fire, Fyara, Fyraga, even though in 6 it was that. It just doesn't.
And then
I don't know why.
In games after that, it was the same because they did it in Crisis Core.
And 8, yeah, and Crisis Core, yeah. For whatever reason, for 7 they were like, no, numbers.
But they generally follow that rule. So the first one is the noun or the action. So it'd be Cure, Blizzard, Fire, Thunder. The second version always ends in Ara, and the third one always ends in Arga.
Yeah, these are super flavorful. There are obviously some of these that are going to be stronger than others. Ice Magic, I think, is probably one of the weaker ones. I remember that last night, my board got wiped significantly to Lightning one, the red one. The white one, which is Cure Magic, it basically gives you hexproof, indestructible, or whatever. Seems strong. I think that's going to be really good too. Yeah, right, Hayram. In remake, they are right, but in the original, they're not. It's so jarring. It's really funny.
Yeah, it's the decisions that are made when you're making games.
Yeah,
but 7 was the first one on the PlayStation. So.
True. So I wonder if that was. I mean, we're going off on a bit of a tangent here, but I wonder if that was from a.
Could have been
trying to make it, maybe they were trying to make it sound less fantasy because of the setting, because it's not. It was the first game that was not typical fantasy, like villager castle setting. It was steampunk, so maybe that's what they were trying to go for. Like maybe. Alrighty, Hayram. I haven't played 14, which we will probably touch on. Actually, the last Final Fantasy that I played up until like the remakes and Crisis Core and all that jazz was 12, I think. I couldn't get onto the MMOs because when they first came out, I didn't have access to the internet. Yes, I am that old. and then 13 came out, and I can't remember why I didn't get into 13, but it was just I missed it. It skipped by me. You are a filthy 14 pre-sellers, are you?
I think proselytizer. I think
I have no idea what that word means, but I'm going to say
advocate for.
Oh, advocate for.
Yeah.
I am a dum-dum.
Preacher about, I think, is the better way.
There are a lot of people that
yeah.
will try to sell you 14, and thankfully, it is one of the best free-to-play MMOs. You get the only thing you can't access is the latest expansion, but you have unlimited playtime, no level cap. Off you go. Have fun.
That's cool. I'm not surprised it's still going, but what I mean by that, I guess, is there are some more recent MMOs out there that have been stopped, like the Elder Scrolls Online recently stopped, didn't it? I think.
I think that one is still. I think that one is still going, but
is it? I'm sure I read somewhere it stopped,
okay.
but it's one of the 3 games that have made you cry.
But I think there's been a general fall off on the MMO bandwagon from like the mid 2000s, early 2010s, in favor of first it was in favor of the battle royales, and then you've got the spin outs from the looter shooters and like the evolution of your team your squad based
shooters,
your squad based shooter. So
I'm sure
like
that
Valorant and Apex Legends and things like
that. It'd be interesting to know. I wonder why that is, but we could probably talk about that.
That's a completely separate conversation, and
not one for a Magic the Gathering stream.
Yeah. So, Chrono, as somebody who hasn't played Final Fantasy, what are your thoughts on the tiered spells?
I find it a little bit weird as a modal spell. I think they're solid. Like in terms of the ones that we have seen, I think they are solid. I think I would have been happier to see them as kind of spree, the mechanic from Outlaws of Thunder Junction,
or kicker, multi-kicker, maybe.
I don't think kicker. I mean.
Everything is kicker.
This is kind of kicker, but then everything is kicker. So I like the implementation from a mechanical perspective. I just think part of me was, when I'd heard about the concept of spell tiers, thought that they might have done it more like Spree rather than this way. But I think this probably makes more sense.
Yeah, so with Spree, you can do one or both,
or more,
right?
Yeah.
With this, you can't. This is very much when you are in your battle, you can't. It's what you have access to. The more mana that you put into it is reference to the more MP that you would put into the spell.
Which is why I kind of thought you'd have it would be Spree in the sense of you have a coster. Then if you want to add each subsequent mode, it would be an additional cost.
Oh, I see.
So you then say like your tier 1 costs 2, and then it's plus thing, and you add another extra bit to that. So in a way, part of me wanted this to work better with, say, Riku of Many Paths.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
because it's not. I don't think it works in Riku, does it?
No. Well, I mean, it does in the sense that it's a modal spell, but you only get the one. You only get the one trigger off
one. You don't actually choose one. You choose the amount of mana that you're putting into it. So you're not choosing a mode, you're choosing a mana cost.
You do choose a mode, because each of those 3 things is a mode. But it means you'll only get one trigger off Riku rather than multiple triggers, which Spree gives you.
Yeah, that's true. Right, the next mechanic.
Sorry,
go on.
Blood he specifically said, is there going to be a good commander? The answer to this is yes. Those tiered cards are exactly the kind of thing we want in Commander. We want our spells to be flexible. There's no better.
Oh, I think
definition
he's.
of a flexible spell.
I think Dawnblood is actually talking about what we're going to be doing later.
Sorry,
Yeah, so
No,
we are going to.
I missed the. Is it good?
Yeah.
As I missed the as.
Yeah, we are.
in.
After we've talked about the mechanics of the set, we're going to move into a tier list section for Blood of, and we're going to go through the main 99 commanders of the main set. So we're not going to talk about the ones that you find in the precons. We might do that another time.
Caveat: there are a couple that are classed as main set that appear as cards in some of the decks because they are at the uncommon slot.
Yeah, and I might have accidentally added one or two duplicates into the list, so we'll find out. This is the first time we've done anything like this, so we probably have made one or two mistakes, but it's fine. Saga creatures, I love these. So Saga creatures are enchantment creatures that come in as normal sagas, but then after you can attack with them when you normally can attack with them. Some of them have haste, so you can attack with them straight away. And then they go away when the saga is finished. Like when you do magics, when you do summons in Magic, you summon them, they do this massive effect, and then they disappear.
And because of creatures, because they've been made into creatures, we've had a rules change for sagas.
Oh yeah, which is really funny because, chat, do you know I've got this Kotis deck, Kotis Mutate deck? This is not showing you Odin, but Odin has an effect that says if it deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game, and you can mutate over the top of that after that saga counter, and it will not get any more saga counters.
So
then you just have a flyer with that effect, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
So we've got Summon Fenrir, which is a 3/2 Saga Wolf for 2 and a green. It has on its first chapter Crescent Fang. Search your library for a basic land card and put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Chapter 2, when you next cast a creature spell this turn, that creature enters with an additional +1/+1 counter. And Chapter 3, draw a card if you control the creature with the greatest power tied for the greatest power. This is great because it's Cultivate on a body. This is great. And then you get an effect that's similar to... I've forgotten the red saga, but it's the mono red one that when it gets to chapter 2, the next time you cast a creature spell, it enters with a +1/+1 counter on it, and then card draw on its second chapter. That's really good. Big fan of that, especially if you're able to blink it, get lots of land from that.
Yeah.
What do you think, Chrono?
I'm in two minds about these. So on the one hand, I like the design space that this has created. What I don't like is that I think it is something of a logistic nightmare because, especially for the ones which don't have haste.
Yeah, this can only attack once.
Exactly. Although it may have 3 or more chapters, that's kind of
on chapter 1 or 3.
Yeah, it's kind of misleading. You only get it for the middle portion of its career, which I guess is flavoursome for the way that your summon creatures work in games, and particularly in Final Fantasy.
Yes.
But the fact that they're only around as because my feeling is that when you summon a creature, you primarily want it as an attacker, whereas conversely, they are better defenders in this magical.
It's interesting.
It's interesting that you chose the word that you summon them as attackers because that's not always 100% the case. Some of them are very much defensive.
Okay, yeah, some of them are. Fenrir is from Final Fantasy 11, so I don't know about Fenrir's.
Probably appears in multiples like most of the summons.
I feel like he was in 9, maybe.
Probably. I don't have an encyclopedic knowledge of where summons come from. But,
I like the design space it opens up. But it also falls into the same issue as putting multiple card types on the one card. This gets hit by creature removal and enchantment removal.
Yeah,
and I know we've had more of that. Like there are more artifact creatures, there are more enchantment creatures in the last few years than there have ever been before. So you have that as an ongoing issue. But on the one hand, where you've got, oh, cool, I don't have any actual creatures, but I cast an enchantment and it can help block. But are you really using it for its creature? I feel these are sagas first, creatures second.
On the flip side of this, Chrono, if you happen to have both something like Beast Whisperer and one of the many things, you draw 2 cards.
Sure,
because it's both. But in those weird decks that you do, but...
like Enchantress decks are going to eat very well from this.
I think these are good in certain archetypes. I think you're absolutely right. I am building a Garnet deck based around these, like Ansagas, but based around these. And that's great for her because she can remove the counters, and that's what I want to do. I want to keep them around longer by attacking. I don't care if she actually does any damage. I care about
exactly. Like you care about them being enchantments first, which is a little bit why I'm a little bit down on them also, because it means that green and white get the best use out of them because those are heavily the enchantment colors and things are weighted in that direction, which means that the cost your cost benefit of including them in the other colors mostly depends on how good they are as an enchantment, not how good they are as a creature.
Interestingly, though, because these are sagas, still they do count as historic permanents. I think. Because
if you're in a deck that wants that, you already have your weight of that. I don't think that these necessarily do anything more to push you in a direction.
True.
To use them for that basis. Because there aren't that many historic matters commanders. There are a few. But they aren't few. However, the one that I do think of, weirdly enough, is in blue-red. It's the second Joyra. Joyra Weatherlight Captain. And I wonder if that deck gets better as a result of these, because then these count as non-creature spells for things that work for blue-red, whilst also giving you a creature.
They count as creature spells because they have the creature
type on them.
Oh,
of course they do. Right. So that's a bit of, so that's actually a non. So as I say, I'm in 2 minds about them. I like some of the effects. I will test them. I will probably use the ones from the Commander set to see. But unless the enchantment is good, I suspect I am not using them for their creature side.
I think again from a flavor point of view, these are hitting all the right notes. But
almost.
Functionally speaking,
yeah,
for the most part, you're going to get one attack. Am I wanting to attack with a 3/2 on basically turn 4 that has no an attack effect? I might. The other thing about this actually, though.
Yeah, I want Fenrir to stick around for the chapter 2, for the chapter 1 and chapter 2 ability.
Yeah.
I don't even really care about the third one because I've got better ways of doing that in green.
The other thing, though, having said that, you could do something that you could care about. There are Jund decks that care about number of card types, like Tarmogoyf. This counts as 2.
The new Delirium based decks that got better with Duskborn will really like these. They have their place.
So you say these are good flavorfully, and I think absolutely agree they are. There's just one tiny thing: they should stick around until they've attacked after chapter 3, because that is the entire point of the summon. The attack is the last thing it does.
Yes, that's right. That I think what would have been more flavorfully, and maybe I don't know all of the summons off the top of my head or that's being put out here. I think maybe Bahamut does something like this in the set, but where the last effect is a damaging effect.
I do have one more point on these, and that is but there are 2 different there are two different versions of these like saga creatures. There are the ones which come in straight away like this, and then there are the ones that are on the backside of certain legendary creatures that we will talk about. So the character something's dominant, and because they work differently to the way these were, I also think that is a logistics issue from a brain load capacity. In you have two things, which I mean, obviously it's not. I mean, it's Magic as a whole. You have a huge amount of rules knowledge that you need to know, but looking at it from the perspective of a new player coming in who may
basically trip a lot of people up.
You are going to trip up over do they exile and come back in and therefore have issues, because particularly with the way lore counters trigger, which weird enough came up in the game that I was playing earlier, because if you do that, say in your upkeep, with the ones that will come back, if they come back in your upkeep, they get a lore counter when they come in, and that will trigger again at the after your draw step.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there is a kind of like intuition disconnect there.
But I feel we've got that already with because the same thing can happen with the Praetors.
Yes.
Mark the Machines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Is also
but for new players, and when these are the thing with the March of the Machine Praetors though is that they weren't. All of that happened at the top rarities.
Yes.
When there was flip transformations. This is at all rarities and will be hit in the limited environment.
Right, I've got two things.
However, that's we've talked a lot about that.
Yeah. So there's Thornblood, I've seen what you've asked. I'll get back onto you in a minute. But two other things that did come up in pre-release yesterday. Because these are creatures, you can use feigned death effects on these. So they die, they come back, and there's a really good one in this set called Vincent's Limit Break. So he comes back with additional powers. Yeah. So it changes the power. It comes in tapped, but you can't attack with it the first turn anyway, so the haste doesn't matter.
There is a completely different issue with Vincent's Limit Break.
Oh yeah, it's weird. It's so weird. I've got so many of them in my pre-release skit, but
because of when it changes, the base power and toughness, and doesn't come back with that base power and toughness.
It
only dies with it. So.
It's a very weird card, right?
Yeah.
Thornblood, you have asked me what Final Fantasy as you should do to test waters, and it wildly depends. 10, as Kerrika said, is aged really well. It hits a lot of the right spots for getting players into the game. It's got a great tutorial section. It's got a great story. It's got a great soundtrack. It's got a captivating, beautiful world.
That. I think it is just the PS2 era, so that would be Final Fantasy 10 and 12.
12, I've got mixed feelings on 12.
I think everybody does, but it's
12
one of those games where, like 10, it's aged well. It doesn't look bad.
No, but 12 also has these really weird things where. So in the games, you collect weapons as you go. Your weapons get stronger, and then there are your ultimate weapons. In 12, the best weapon in the game, there's two of them. You can miss them completely because one of them is if you is in a place that's in lots of chests. If you open 4 chests within the game, that chest doesn't exist. And the other one is a 2% chance of an invisible chest appearing on an airship. That's terrible. It's terrible. So not 12, but 10 is great from a starting point. It does have some frustrating side quests, especially when the ones that you want to do for your ultimate weapons. The sphere grid is really it's really good at getting people things into the game. The setting is beautiful. It will make you cry. But the next one, if you want to play something a bit older, 9 is a love song to everything that came before it. It's got references to characters, reference to music, reference to battle system. It's wonderful. 8 is a wonderful world. The story is hard to follow. The junctioning system isn't necessarily user-friendly for newer players. No, also, my favorite thing about 8 is Triple Triad, because for me, Final Fantasy 8 is actually a card game with a it's a card game with a story-based driven side quest, because really you level up through playing the card game and then turning those cards into magic and then junctioning those magic, because the game gets harder the higher level you are incentivized to not level up. 7 is my favorite. Yeah, it's weird. 7 is my favorite game ever. I could talk about it for days. Our other co-host Joe, I meet him regularly. He is probably fed up of me saying this is cool because of this. But 7 has got a really deep story. The materia system is, for me, the best system, because not only does it give you full customizability, it gives you a way to eventually just make everybody the strongest they can be, because you can just make some busted materia combinations. It's got the best limit break access, because you're not just getting it through your weapons. You have to meet certain criteria to unlock those limit breaks. It's got the best ways that you can get your final weapons. The story really spoke to me at a personal level when I was a young boy, because it's about identity and about everybody finding their identity and who they are, what they want from life. And that really spoke to me as a child at that time. The music is badass. There's so much I could go on. I can already see the eyes being glazed over here, so I'm not going to say any more, but they are... 10 is really good entry point, but if you wanted to play something a bit older, 7 or 9 is what I would say with.
And I would recommend, if you are doing any 7, 8 or 9, get the what is called the remastered version on Steam.
Yeah,
because what they have done there is a glow up on the original rather than remake, which is a full-blown top-down remake.
Remake is a different game, but with the remasters, they've also put in a speed mechanic, so you can, if you're doing a grind session, you can put the speed up to ×3 and it takes less time because everything's much faster. Cool. I think I've rambled enough. Let's get back to the mechanics.
What's our next mechanic?
What is our next mechanic? Our next mechanic is transforming double face cards. These are returning. Which makes sense for me. Flavor Flav, a lot of characters that they
fundamentally change.
They fundamentally changed. You could have done this with so many different cards. You could have done this with Red 13, because he could have been Red 13 then Nanaki, because he is essentially a different character when you find out his backstory a bit. Hojo could have been one. Genova could have been one. Many. Sephiroth is one, obviously. But this is Emmett Selch, Unsundered, aka Hayrin's husband. This is a 2/4 for 1 and Demir, blue-black for a 2/4 with Vigilance. And when Emmett Selch enters or attacks, draw a card, then discard a card. And at the beginning of your upkeep, if there are 14 or more cards, I wonder what 14 could be, then in your graveyard, you may transform Emmett Selch. And the flip side of Emmett Selch is a 6/6 with Vigilance. And during your turn, you may play cards from your graveyard, but if a card or a token will be put into your graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. This is Yawgmoth's Will in the command zone. Seems strong. Seems really strong. But yeah, I think these are great. A lot of characters. These work in Magic really well. We know what these are all about. But I think there are characters, especially villains. This seems to be a thing with villains. Actually, Kudra is one, Sephiroth is another, where they meet and Kefka, they meet their criteria to get to their final form, and that is the end boss of the game, right? Mm-hmm. Which is great.
As I mentioned before, there's a couple of, like, Chrono mentioned earlier, there's a couple that transform into sagas, which is a whole nother headache. They're from 15, I believe. I may be wrong, but I've forgotten.
16,
Clive,
but 16 is the most recent one, isn't it? Yeah. But yeah, I love these. And I don't know if you'll have any. About MDFCs already, don't you? Or TDFCs, these ones. I suppose. Excuse me. I suppose the interesting thing about these, though, actually, is the cards like Moon Mist. Flip them over already. There are other ways to flip these cards, aren't there?
If they are human.
If they are human, yeah. But there are other ways to do these already.
Yeah.
The other side of this, I guess, is if it's being flipped and then someone flickers your creature, it comes back in on the front side. Does it?
Yes.
Yes.
Anything that has turned over gets turned back when it leaves the field.
Yeah. Adventures is our next mechanic. Adventures on lands.
But these are specifically on lands, which is
on
weird
lands.
to me.
This is so weird to me. I don't know what I think about these.
I imagine adventures as, the character that's printed on the face of the card getting up and disappearing for a little while.
This is both a land,
entire frigging town getting up and leaving.
This is both a land and a non-land card.
Yeah, I think it's more representative of the kind of quest you go on when you get to that town or you leave that town. It's the quest.
Yeah, so Chrono, I'd like to know your thoughts on these because, sure, I think from a flavor point they're fine. I don't think they're like, oh, look at the flavor of this. This is so cool. Like each one individually, like Lindblom is great because it makes Black Mage. That's really flavorful for 9, and Zanarkand is really flavorful for 10, and so on. But as a thing of Final Fantasy, like I don't think the whole people go on adventures things needed to be plastered everywhere.
No,
everyone knows that.
Again, this is going to fall into the. I like that they tried it out as an expansion of the adventures design space.
Yes.
I think it's a bit pointless.
Yes, why?
Because and I freely admit I'm following in the footsteps of like Benjamin Wheeler here, who was commenting on these for the Canlander format.
Right. Okay.
The adventure sides are horribly overcosted.
They are.
Absolutely. They are too expensive for their costs, even allowing for the fact that they occur on land. The fact that the land also comes in tapped when you do it. I know a lot of people are going to say that
wandering
is
bard.
No.
Minstrel, sorry.
There is that, but I don't. Again, that's completely referent because that's one particular archetype.
Yeah.
I know people are going to make reference to the fact that these feel like MDFCs, modal double-faced lands.
They're not, though.
I don't think they are, because you don't necessarily have the same decision point that you do with MDFCs.
Yeah. These are good if you are thinking about the fact that early on, fine, it's a tapped land. Tapped lands are great. If I get to 7 mana, someone mills 6 mana, sorry. Someone mills a card. But really what you're wanting to do with these spells is cast the adventure, then play the land to get them maximum value.
Yeah.
You are spending 7 mana on it at that point.
I don't
Because it's 6 mana and a tapped land.
Yeah.
So you are not getting any extra value from it.
Because there is a natural point that when you are presented with something like this, you want to get the most value out of it. And we all know that Magic players are very bad at overlooking potential value for I will play a card now because I need this as a land, rather than I can see this being good 7-8 turns in the future. I will hold it until then.
I mean, there are some niche cases where these are going to be great. I guess there's the red-white. I've forgotten her name, but she was in March of the Machine. When you play a card from exile, you make a Thopter. Or
the Pia
that's it.
Not Revival.
Yeah. So. And I think the red one and the white one, from memory, are not as aggressively costed as 6 mana for mill. I mean, I suppose it is mill half their deck is. So
I
we
like
just say
I love Traumatize. I will probably put that one in my thing, but I do not want it as a land. I want it as another copy of Traumatize, and I'm
Yeah.
already paying a lot for Traumatize, so I'm
it's
okay with
Maddening
that.
Cacophony, isn't it? I guess
it's all
stapled onto
of
a
that.
land, which
Yeah.
isn't. It's not bad by any means, but
Yeah,
it's.
I don't want it as a land, and I also then don't want the decision point of should I play this as a land if I draw it in my opening hand,
Or should I wait? Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't need that. I don't need that decision point, and I don't think that is a decision point that helps a lot of people.
Can I put these in the same boat as cycling lands then? With that decision point, because this is the same decision point. Do I play this as a land now, or do I cycle it and see what I get next?
No, well, I know what you're doing there. Cycling lands are much better.
I agree with Chrono.
Much better.
Because it's got a discard trigger, a draw trigger.
It's not even that. The decision point is easier.
Yeah.
The decision point is easier on a cycling.
I need a land or a card is easier than I need a land, or do I want to mill someone's?
Do I want a spell effect to hold?
Yeah.
I'm
so
just trying to draw analogs because
Speaking of cycling,
new mechanic.
Yes, I think, as I say, I like what they tried to do with this design space.
I think it's a good step.
I think they played it too safe.
Yes, so do I. I think these could have been so much better than they are. I think if that spell was 4 and 1 blue or 3 and 2 blue, I would be looking at that way more than differently. I know it is only 1 mana.
If the land didn't come in tapped.
Or if the land didn't come in tapped, yeah. Or if it gave you an opportunity to pay life for it to not come in tapped. Like some of the MDFCs do.
The ones from, the Modern Horizons 3 ones made MDFCs a lot better because you had the option of paying the life for them not to come in tap.
They were printed earlier.
I suppose the difference there, though, is I'm going to
like
scroll back up.
Zendikar Rising is where we first saw them, and I'm not I know a lot of content creators are very high on MDFCs as a thing. Like you only have to go and listen to like Commander Clash.
Or Command Zone are on them all the time.
Yeah, them being very high. I'm not. I think there's only a couple of them that I would play.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'll get recovered and such.
And those MDFCs, you're not playing them because they are a land. You're playing them because the spell is useful.
And it's a land if I need it. It's not. This is a land and a spell. It's a spell.
This is
and if I am up the creek, it's a land. But I think, there could have been a way to make these come in untapped, which wouldn't have been... I suppose the argument against that from a game perspective is with MDFCs, you have choice of one or other. You have the choice of both for this.
Yes.
So
I don't disagree with any of that. I just think that they fall into a weird space that I don't like the execution, even if I like the idea.
I think I sort of understand why they went safe with these. There are some that are much better. Jador isn't the best one. Lindblom is by quite some margin, and then it's probably I forgot. Ishi, is it Ishi the next one? Which does something about enchantments. I've forgotten. And then there's black one is Deadly Dispute on a land, but it's 4 mana for a Deadly Dispute. Am I wanting to do that?
I think the problem here is also the coming tapped at rare, because this cycle is all rare. You need it. You want it to be better.
It needs to hit harder.
It needs to hit harder. It needs to be more impactful.
I wildly agree with everything you said. Don't get me wrong. I'm loving this set, but I think there are some things they could have pushed a bit more on. Just genuinely.
I mean, it's give and take. There's a lot of stuff in the set that is very pushed.
Yeah.
If this is the casualty, cool, so be it. I'm not playing most of these things. I won't be particularly happy if I open them in a pack, but someone will like them.
yeah, exactly. That's it. Yeah, bring 2 artifacts or enchantments back to hand. That's a great land. Honestly, that's a great spell on a land, and I don't think it's massively costed. I think it's 4 or 5 mana, which is actually not bad for that price.
Isn't too bad considering that Open the Vaults is also 5 mana and returns all of them.
So there are some that are way better than others, and also like they rarely put we're using the Gatherer here. They rarely put the Busted stuff on here. Like MTGxFinalFantasy is great, but it's not. There are better cards in this set,
I think also coming on the back of Omens in Tarkia Dragonstorm, which are really good. They do a lot more. The kind of like from going from that to adventure-based lands in limited, in the limited environment, kind of feels like a bit of a downgrade.
And equally on that point, and in standard too, because all these cards are legal in standard.
That's true. Yeah, that is true. But yeah, the Omens were great because they reshuffle back in.
We already have that issue because Wilds of Eldraine is still legal in standard, and the adventures. They've got real adventures. Yes.
Yeah.
You get 2 really good cards rather than an okay card and a tap land. Which, that is not exciting me. Sorry.
No, I am with you exactly on that, and I think this is the last one. Land cycling on big bodies. This is a thing for limited more than anything. They're great, but they're not things that we generally see in Commander. Genuinely, because
we see them more in Commander than any other format.
Well, they're in limited, aren't they? That's what they're fair for.
They're here for limited, and the only thing I actually want to say about these is I love them.
I love them
because like we started seeing them in the Lord of the Rings set. That we're like, and almost every set since then has had one monocolored cycle of these, because it means that your opportunity cost for and this is a term we're going to come back to a lot. Your opportunity cost for putting in a big beta that is a late game finisher, that is often just a vanilla creature, is so much better.
Yeah,
it's so much higher if you can cycle it away at the early stages for a land.
Yeah, especially the black ones are usually the best because they're in the reanimated color, so you want to cycle it early, then get it back later.
There is a reason why Troll of Khazad-dûm has had to be banned in Pauper.
Yeah, because I think this might get banned in Pauper because of the same reason.
They're the ones that see most play, I think.
Which is weird because you would have thought that red needs it more, and I know that Oliphaunt is used a lot as a ramp. Is effectively it's not technically ramp, but it's land finding in a lot of even in a lot of red commander decks.
It's tempo maintenance, isn't it? It's not necessarily ramp. It's keeping up.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. It's keeping up in a deck which doesn't have it usually.
Exactly. Right, but I think that was the last mechanic. It was, so yeah, that is a brief overview of the mechanics of this set. I think there's some that are obviously better for Commander overall, but from a Pauper point of view, I think some of these are great as well. Pauper EDH going to be great as well. But folks, now we're into, I guess, the meat and potatoes of this section. We're going to go through the commanders of this set in the main set only, and then we're going to put them on a tier list. There'll be some, obviously, that we'll talk about more than others, because some of them are just genuinely a bit better than others. But yeah, so with that said, we're going to we're on EDH Rec, and the first one we've got, we're doing this in alphabetical order, is the Absolute Virtue. The Absolute Virtue is a... Why is this being weird? Hang on, my mouse isn't moving. There we go. Absolute Virtue is an 8/8 for 8 that can't be countered, a flyer, and has protection from each of your opponents.
No, not it. You.
You have protection from each of your opponents. Sorry.
Yeah.
Which 8 for 8, perfectly. As the meme goes, it's on rate.
It's on rate, yeah. I think it's fine. It can be
nice
dealt
one.
with.
I would like it to have flash to make that protection really count for any amount of reason.
Yeah, I guess so. It would have been nice to be able... Yeah, I think Flash would have been... I mean, I don't know much about this set. What was this, 11? So I don't know much about this. This was the MMO.
That's the first one, yeah.
But I don't know. I guess the protection from each of your opponents is really flavorful, and the spell can't be countered. It's happening, you know, it's coming. But I think Flash would have been nice. I know that would have been more busted. Maybe it would have to be quite expensive. But
then it's not a card. It's not a card you would have as your commander. I don't think.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think it's bad, but I don't think I would put it as my commander. So, Chrono, what are your thoughts on this?
Meh.
It looks.
It's too expensive. It's
so expensive.
It's too expensive to be your commander at 8 mana in. Even if
the rampiest color, there's no ramp in this. Like,
even if you're in blue and are generating huge amounts of mana on that basis, I want more. And in these, like, this is going to be a cry for a lot of these things. You are looking for severe commanders these days have been massively pushed.
Oh yeah, we'll see that.
You only have to look at the precons to see that things which are designed for commander are massively pushed. And I know not every legendary creature is a commander, which is good.
Yeah,
genuinely, that is a good thing.
Yeah.
But looking at it through the lens of things, this does not provide you any reasonable advantage in the command zone. There is no reason why you want to be casting this multiple times.
No.
And if you are looking for a blue-white flying commander, you have a lot better options.
You have a lot better options, yeah. And I think there's even a better Bant version that's not flying, but a better Bant creature that cares about flyers.
I'm not gonna lie, if you put this in the command zone, you are probably going to die a hell of a lot quicker.
Yeah, I think so too. So, where are we putting the absolute virtue then? S, A, B, C, D. I also think so.
Is there an F or a U section down there?
No, there is not. But
this is the D tier commander because you shouldn't be running this as your commander.
No.
I agree. Fight me, chat, if you disagree. Right, next.
Fight all of us for that matter.
Yeah. Next, we have Adelbert Steiner. This is a 2/1 for 1 and a white human knight with lifelink, and Adelbert Steiner gets +1/+1 for each equipment you control. This is quite flavorful for quite a few reasons. There's a bit in Final Fantasy IX right at the start where you are hunting down... Steiner is the leader of the Knights of Pluto, for which there are 9. And at the start, when you get control of Steiner, you're looking for the rest of the Knights of Pluto. And if you find them all, then when you get a bit further into the game, there's an extra boost for doing, like, you get a bit of an additional items and stuff. And obviously, being a knight, he's just going to get more powerful from having equipment too. So I think that's quite nice flavorfully.
And I think on the other side, that they don't have to be equipped.
You don't have to be equipped, no. He just has the thing, so which is really nice. I like this quite a lot. I don't think I'd run it as a commander, but I think it goes into an equipment-based SRAM deck, maybe.
Yeah. Yes,
like,
that was pretty much going to be my answer. If you are running mono white equipment, SRAM is your commander here.
SRAM is your commander.
You are not running Steiner as your commander.
It goes in, sure. But...
Yeah, he is a player in the 99. If you're looking at main commander, where I would say he might be a decent commander is if you want to run mono white equipment at Pauper EDH.
Yes,
I would genuinely be interested in trying him in Pauper EDH.
Yeah, I don't even consider him as Pauper EDH, but you're right, because I think there are some common living weapons and Rebel and 4 Mirrodin cards as well. So there are some, and there are common jobs.
There are lots of common equipment
with this set. common equipment might actually be a reasonable thing to try out in Pauper, and I'm now genuinely interested to see if this is worthwhile, because as you say, he doesn't need to be equipped himself, whereas a lot of the cards which get better on having equipment require the creature to be equipped in the first place. So you don't need to equip him, and the fact that he has lifelink makes his 2/1 body reasonable, because he can then chump, and he can chump early.
Because you're likely you're getting your equipment out then playing Steiner, aren't you? Really?
But I don't think you need to. That's the
true.
thing. He can come down if he is your commander in Pauper. He can come down on 2, get a couple of hits in, or chump early, and then you play him again really cheaply. Like 2 and 3 mana commanders in Pauper are worth their weight in gold if they have a reasonable ability.
And the fact that he has lifelink as well really dials
lifelink is really relevant in Pauper EDH as well, generally, isn't it? I think that's
he trades at higher than his stat line notionally gives him credit for.
Yeah, I think he's great for Pauper EDH. I'd not even tweak that, but I agree. So where are we placing our chunky Rusty Knight?
Now, this is the problem, because is this tier list for regular commander or is it for Pauper?
I think it could be both, because there are some that are going to be better for C EDH than general EDH, and so you would do that as well. So I think I'd put him at B for that, but based on middle of the ground, he's great in Pauper EDH.
I think he's B. I think he is a B. Yeah. On the basis of his Pauper EDH. The problem is he's a D. He's a D for regular commander.
Yeah,
he's an A. I think he's an A for Pauper. So
I agree.
I mean, so that kind of pulls him down as a B, I think.
Yeah, Martin.
I am in absolute agreement. Great Pauper.
Nice.
I mean, it's almost worrying. It may be an echo chamber in here.
Maybe. So next we are on Aerith Gainsborough. This
Everybody's favorite flower girl.
Everyone's favorite flower girl. This is a 2/2 for 3 mana, human cleric with lifelink. Whenever you gain life, put +1/+1 counter on Aerith Gainsborough. When Aerith Gainsborough dies, put X +1/+1 counters on each legendary creature you control, where X is the number of +1/+1 counters on Aerith Gainsborough. This is a weird deck.
So this is mono white game legends.
Before we go into this, I should point out there's an infinite combo here.
Oh.
You can put with Agatha's Soul Cauldron, you can put Walking Ballista in the bin, and then give the counters to her and just do the Heliod trick. Just get it out of the way now. That's the thing.
So Agatha's Soul Cauldron
outside of that,
Walking Ballista's abilities to all of your creatures.
Oh.
So Walking Ballista, you remove a counter, deal the damage, gain the life.
Yeah.
Put the counter back on. Rinse repeat.
Yeah. But then the thing with that is Agatha's Soul Cauldron is a broken card to start with. Walking Ballista is a broken card. Agatha's Soul Cauldron is super expensive.
Yeah. I think this goes in Dahada. This is where this goes. This goes in, potentially goes in Captain's Crusade.
It goes in the Heliod deck as well.
It does go in Heliod. It goes in Lifelink decks for sure, but actually I think where this goes, it goes in Legendary Matters decks. So it goes in Yoshimaru decks, because that's what you're doing.
It goes in mono white legends. I don't think it goes in life gain decks. It
only goes in life gain decks if you've got the legends to.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
If you want that second ability, because if you don't have the balance of legendaries in the deck, just getting the first ability means that you've got a legendary Ajani's Pridemate, and we already have a legendary Ajani's Pridemate in Kala from the Foundation set. or from Foundation's Jumpstart. Admittedly, this has lifelink. The thing, so if you are an aggro life gain deck, sure, you may want this, but most life gains are not aggro.
Yeah.
So I don't. If you want another copy of Ajani's Pridemate, of Kala, of Bloodthirsty Aerialist,
Look, like, you know them all.
This is the fourth or fifth version of that ability. Yeah. So for redundancy, cool. Actually,
not as a commander.
The one thing in Aerith's favor is that she comes natively with lifelink, whereas most of those don't.
Yes. I don't think she's great as a commander. I think she just goes in the 99 decks that care about legendaries. Maybe there's some banned deck that cares about +1/+1 counters also, where you're running the Ozolith, and that's a thing.
Like,
but
I might put her in Olero, but I'm already like way.
That's really quite good in Olero. She gets stronger for you doing nothing but taking an upkeep.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why I said,
funny.
But even there, I'm thinking, does she make the cut? Carrick says that he's building Minwu, and she doesn't make the cut, which is intriguing. Mm-hmm. There is a deck. Is
this just a standard card? Is that why? Like, is this just a card that I'm
not
familiar
standard?
with?
It's not a standard card. She's decent and limited. Like, if you are playing the Order life gain deck, if you're playing the Order deck in limited, she's a player in that. I think a lot of Order decks might try her, but I think they will end up cutting her.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so we need to place her, and I feel like we're going to upset so many people.
That's fine. There are other Aerith cards.
I think she's a C. I don't think she's terrible.
No,
I don't think she's as bad as Absolute Virtue, but I think she is a C.
Yes, I think she's going to be really hard to build around. I think you could realistically build a tier 1 commander deck around this, and it function.
You could. You can definitely build a functional deck around her.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it will be that interesting.
No.
And although I will be pleasantly surprised if somebody builds her as aggro, life gain, and she is better than other commanders who do similar things. Because I think if you want that effect, we're running Heliod.
Yes, I think you just saw Heliod is just better because it's indestructible Aerith, and you're not also putting all your +1/+1 counters
that being
in
said,
the basket.
She will be a lot cheaper than Heliod Sunground.
That is also true. That is also true. Right, okay, so next.
Ambrosia the White Heart. You love this one, don't you, John?
It's not this one. I think this is not a commander card. It's a very niche commander card. So Ambrosia Whiteheart is a 2/2 legendary creature bird with flash for 1 and a white. And when Ambrosia enters, you may return another permanent, which is important, you control to its owner's hand. And landfall, it has the Chocobo text. Whenever a land enters, you control enters, it gets +1/+0 until end of turn. This was great in limited yesterday because I was running this. So you'd get your the adventurers in, you play that on turn 1, player planes, then let them go to their turn, flash this in, return the land to your hand, then play this. You're up 4 life basically, and you've got a 3/2 to go to combat on turn 3. It's very good and limited. I think this is very good in a commander that we'll touch on later, Choco, because you can do a similar thing where you're bouncing multiple lands to your hand to replay them later. You can flash this in as a protection piece for some of your bits so you don't mind recasting. Outside of that, this is a terrible commander.
Yeah.
I agree. I will say that there might...
Is this Pauper? It's uncommon.
There might be a place in Pauper for it.
Mono white landfall? Is that a thing?
No. Well, it isn't, but it might...
It's not that. It's the fact that it's a protection piece in the command zone.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And also that protection piece is a May. You don't have to.
You don't have to. Yeah.
It's not like Savannah Lions, where like it's an upgraded Savannah Lions, where you have to. You have to bounce something back. Where I see this, I mean, I definitely think that if you are running this in Commander, and I genuinely doubt we will see much of it in the 99.
I mean,
yeah.
Just draw your attention to the number of decks currently on EDH Reg.
Which is weird, because birds are not in white in this set. Birds are green here.
Yeah.
Interestingly, that's the number of decks where it is the commander.
Yes.
How many?
4.
4. Yeah. That's yeah.
Tells you what you need to know. Yeah.
Weirdly enough, there is one card that I can see this being paired with.
What's that?
Another horrendously expensive card. If you have Ocelot Pride.
Oh my god, Ocelot Pride, yeah.
Not that you need anything to make Ocelot Pride better, but I feel that this is kind of synergistic with Ocelot Pride.
Yeah, you're right. It is
because you return a land to your hand, play the land, get the landfall trigger, and trigger Ocelot Pride as well.
Yeah. That's funny.
Right. I'm afraid.
But that is
a quick bio break.
Sure,
okay,
but
no
that
problem.
is super low on the on the reasons.
That's very funny. Right. Well, whilst Martin takes a quick bio break, we'll not rank this one, but
I think it's a D.
It's so obviously a D. It's terrible. I enjoy the card in my Choco deck.
Okay, yeah, actually, you know what? While we're waiting for Martin to come back, let me run a quick search on mono white.
Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing what you have to say about Minwoo. It is in alphabetical order, so just bear that in mind, Dom.
Right. Let's have a look at what. Okay, so there are 17 cards with landfall in white.
Okay, how many of them are common?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To be fair, 6. One of them is Step Links.
Okay. Yeah, all-star card.
Oh, but then you've got Sunspring Expedition.
Yeah.
Rest for the Weary.
Yeah, I don't think this does landfall in Pauper EDH.
No, but I think
maybe...
there are. No, Fearless. No, not even Fearless Fledgling.
Maybe a Flicker deck, like mono white Flicker deck. It cares about because you could flicker your removal pieces and then flicker Ambrosia when you need to remove other pieces instead.
Maybe but I think if you're
but there's already better flicker Pauper EDH decks, Abdeladrian being the king.
Well, exactly, and I don't think you want this. I don't even think. Well, I mean, not that you would run this over Abdeladrian for your commander, and you can't run it in the 99 of that.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to think of flicker. Yeah, flicker decks and regular commander flicker decks have much better targets.
Yeah, and also it doesn't flicker the thing you are returning it to your hand. You have to recast the thing.
Yeah, it's mana.
It's just it's bad. It's right. So are we agreed? D.
Actually, the only way that I could see this as being is if you are using it to do 0 mana, like a 0 mana
Cheerios.
permanent. Yeah. But even then, I don't think Cheerios wants this.
No, it feels like there could be a weird mono white storm if you had Cheerios and Cloudstone Curio and this.
But I don't think that deck. I don't even think that deck wants another this.
It's so bad. Yeah. Right. Okay.
I can see it maybe hitting the maybe like one deck in Pauper. Just because it's protection in the commander.
Someone will want to build Pauper Birds, and therefore this is a commander. So
in fact, I think I know who that is. Lucy. You do you. Right. Next, we have Arden. Arden, the Usurper. This is a 4/4 Elder Human Noble for 5 black. Demons you control have Menace, Lifelink, and Haste. And he also has Star Scourge. At the beginning of combat on your turn, exile to 1 target creature card from any graveyard. If you exile the card this way, create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 5/5 black demon.
This is a lot of mana.
That's a lot of mana. I mean, it is in the colours of, oh, you're a 1/1 now, you're actually 3 mana. But, yeah, that's a lot of mana for that.
But that ability, that Star Scourge.
This Blood Pair.
I
love his beginning of combat.
I love his text box. I love his text box.
Yeah.
To give all of your demons Menace, Lifelink, and Haste.
And it is at the beginning of combat. You are going to get hit in with that demon immediately.
Someone is getting hit with that demon.
It's not just that. So we have.
Is this Fedora Hobo or Murder Hobo, Haven?
There is a lot to like here. He is a typal. He is a typal commander for not for not for an underrepresented type.
Demons there are a lot of demons.
Demons are very popular.
And they tend to be in mono black generally.
He's got graveyard removal, like every turn graveyard removal, because it's a graveyard, not your graveyard. And the thing, like, I think it is balanced with his cost.
It's a strong effect.
The effect is super strong. You want to use him as a finisher.
Yes, you do. You want to build. Yeah, I agree.
You said, like, black creating lots of mana is not
unheard of.
Well, it's not that it's trivial, but it's not difficult.
There
are plenty of Dark Ritual and
sacrifice is great for this.
Give you mana effect. You've also you're going to see this with things like Nikana Revenant. With you might even have like the out of color Liliana of the Dark Realms to generate a lot of mana.
I think the mana is trivial. I mean,
no,
8 mana is a lot.
I don't think it's trivial.
I could see a place.
I mean, it's simple. Well, no, it's more straightforward than it looks, but it isn't trivial.
I think for newer players, this looks scary, but then I will remind people of Kirik being the thing. Like,
yes,
it's not hard. I mean, it's not easy. Trivial is the wrong word, Jack.
Yeah,
it's not easy, but it's not difficult in mono black.
That said, I think we are going to see him more in the 99 than as a commander.
Correct. I agree. He's so televised. People are going to wait and has no way to protect himself.
So the
minute you play him, you're just getting 4 life back or a basic land. That's what's happening.
The only way I see this being a commander is if he is a mono black control commander.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because there is no way he's sticking around long enough to get you.
Yeah, Raphael demon type more.
Weirdly enough,
even you could, Raphael demon type.
But Raphael is a better demon and gives you access. Is a better commander for that deck and gives you access to red. Which will work for Arden because then you have access to the red rituals like Jeska's Will and Seething Song.
You could even put in Rakdos in this set in this deck.
Rakdos would be a better commander
because
will be the commander that we will see.
Because you could realistically get 5 knocks off that. And
you want him as your finisher. if he is
I'm just remembering a playmat I saw.
If Arden is in your command zone, you are casting him once. You are casting him once to be your finisher.
Yeah.
Once you have got a board of demons that you have protected, he is going to be your finisher.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it is. Yeah.
One best thing out of your opponent's graveyard, and then you're going to turn around and hit them with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not even that. It's the Menace, Lifelink, and Haste.
Yeah.
Because with that, you have set up. I also could see him being the commander for. Oh, what is it? The damn it! 1 mana common. Sacrifice 6 of them. You can have any number in your deck. Sacrifice 6 of them.
Shadowborn Apostle.
Shadowborn Apostle.
He could be.
I can see this being a Shadowborn Apostles deck.
Yeah, I don't even thought about Shadowborn Apostle, but he could be right. Well, we need to rank him, don't we? Where are we putting Murder Hobo?
What we got? I want to put him at B.
I kind of want to put him at C because whilst the ability is strong, the ability is super strong. Mm-hmm. It being in the command zone at 8 mana is is not ridiculously expensive, but it's so expensive. It's prohibitively expensive, and it's super televised. So if you are building up a board of demons in a colour that isn't actually well known for protecting itself, is about killing its stuff more than it's quicker to yeet stuff in the bin than it is to say don't touch me. You want to put this in a dual coloured deck.
I want to say B, and I think it's actually a C.
Yeah,
I think it's a C also.
No, you've convinced me.
Right, Arden. I hardly know him. Is going into C then. Okay, next we are on Ash, Princess of Dalmasca. This is a 3/2 uncommon human rebel noble for 2 and a white. Whenever Ash attacks, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on your bottom of your library in a random order. I am not that thrilled about this card. I don't know if that's
with less steps.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's because I didn't really rate 12 that much. But
so 12
I think
is one
but I think the effect
sorry,
is no, sorry, I didn't mean to keep rambling, but I just don't think the effect is that great. And maybe if when she entered and or attacked, that would be better. But looking at the top 5 cards is so many cards, but you're only putting the artifact. It's any artifact, but it's going into your hands. You're not cheating anything out. I think it could have been entered or attacks, and it would have been fine.
Yeah, it's the Weatherlight with less steps because you don't have to crew it.
Yeah.
So Final Fantasy 12 is one of the ones that I have a degree of familiarity with, as I said, from having watched a playthrough of it. So my one flavor comment is why they have to do her dirty by putting her at uncommon. She is the protagonist of 12.
Yeah, she is kind of a key character.
She is the protagonist of 12 more so than Van is.
Yeah, Van is just a weird thief.
Well, Van is your
reference.
Is your point of view character. He's not actually the MC. Even though he is notionally billed as an MC. I think I agree with you in that I think they could have put enters on this, even as an uncommon.
Yeah, I think that would have been fine. I know artifacts do genuinely broken things, but we have effects that do this already. I'm fairly certain. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know this is like maybe I'm just stuck on equipment here. Bless you. And maybe I'm stuck on equipment here, but there is already Armored Sky Knight that when it attacks, you put the equipment or aura onto the battlefield. And that's a rare, sure, but that's already better because it's a 4/4 with flying. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just got the evasion you need, it's got power behind it, and it also just puts it straight onto the battlefield, equipped to something. This feels like a poor man's version of that.
True.
But again,
I don't know.
I see this in SRAM.
Maybe.
Get some equipment on her,
put her sideways, find the next equipment.
But then only that would be better if she looks at the top cards equal to her power. It's 5. I know 5 is a lot, but
5 is
also
a lot, actually. Like, I like that it's 5 and not her power, because like if it was equal to her power, if it was equal to her power, she would be a rare.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
The most recent printing of this effect, I believe, was the Weatherlight from Dominaria United.
No, it was no Dominaria.
No, Dominaria. Dominaria United. The Weatherlight card.
It was
the Weatherlight card in
Complete.
Dominaria was Weatherlight completed. Yeah,
Which is a good magic card. That's a good magic card.
That had literally the same wording, apart from it said historic instead of artifact.
But
historic gets you legendary creatures and enchantments. I know that, and that was a mythic, and you had to crew it.
Hear me out. I think for exactly the right reasons, I am low on her. I don't think she's an equipment commander.
No. I know I am stuck on equipment, and I think it's because she's holding a sword.
Yeah,
she's a Cheerios commander.
But also in this set with Boros equipment being a pushed archetype, she is there for that. I don't think that is her best use. I know you said Thram, and I think that probably is where she will see play. I think she's good for mono white ramp, mono white egg.
Eggs, Cheerios and eggs. Yeah, I think you're right.
She can and again, we're going to say this a lot. Pauper.
Pauper.
She is a pauper mono white artifacts commander.
Yeah. Card drawing pauper is a hard thing to come by.
She is card selection. She will find your mana rocks. She will find your eggs. All those little effects that are one mana artifacts, spell bombs, things like that. She is very good at finding. She will find you what you need at the point you need it.
Well, yeah, hopefully.
There we are.
Well, I mean, as much as you've got in, but this level of card selection in white for not, as you said, on the Weatherlight, it's historic cards, which admittedly is broader, but that is a rare. Most of these effects in white go looking for legendaries, go looking for equipment specifically. For it to be a generalized artifact,
that is stronger than you think. I do agree. However, I think you are going to need some mass of artifacts because she's going to need to be protected. She's going to need to get stronger. She is 3 mana. You are realistically at the earliest attacking on turn 3, likely turn 4, when people already have a board and she's only got 2 toughness. It's going to be hard to prevent her from being
which is why I don't think she has a place outside of Thram, and even then in regular commander. I think she is a pauper. If we are going to see her in commander, we are going to see her in pauper.
Yeah, I agree. So where are we placing her? I think personally this is a C. I don't think she's bad, but I don't think she's we've already said Steiner is a B, and I think Steiner is better than Ash.
Steiner is better.
Yeah, I think she's a C. Yeah.
Right. Right. Moving on. We are on Balthier and Fran, and I'm sure they're
again.
FF12, and we know why you like this card. Anyway, this is a 4/3 human rabbit with 1 for 1 and Gruul. For 4/3 with reach, vehicles you control get +1/+1 and have vigilance and reach. And whenever a vehicle crewed Balthier, I can't say it now, chat. Balthier and Fran this turn attacks. If it's the first combat phase of this turn, you may pay 1 red and green. If you do, there's an additional phase after this additional combat phase. I said words.
It is a lot of words.
I said a lot of words. This
is interesting because this is taking vehicles out of their normal Boros home.
right. Yeah, this is Gruul vehicles.
I don't think Boros Vehicles has been the main outlet for a while now.
It's probably Orzhov with
Greasefang.
Yeah, of course.
That's where we're seeing a lot, but also Azorius with things like Mendicant Core coming out of Aetherdrift. Aetherdrift did a lot for vehicles. I know it's not a lot of people's favorite sets, but I really enjoyed it for what it did for vehicles. Because it broadened vehicles into all 5 colors, and particularly into the multicolors. There's at least one good vehicle or one reasonable vehicle in each of the multicolors. Some much better than others. We have been seeing a lot more of a push for red-green artifacts as an archetype for a while now. I'm thinking of from is it Dominaria United Myria, the red green legend?
Yeah.
Because for a long time we had I think does Tana trigger off artifacts, or am I misremembering that? Tana the Bloodsower. I can't remember. Let me just double check if I'm misremembering that.
How do you use a card thing in this?
Ton of the Blood. No, that's a very different card. Okay, but I think it is actually Miria I'm thinking about. For a long while, she was adrift. She didn't have a home because Gruul Artifacts was not something that was well supported. I think it is much better supported these days.
Yeah, I think this is okay.
And I think Balthia and Fran will give that archetype a boost. I think we will see more Gruul artifacts coming to the fore.
I think this card is okay. I think it's weird that they are giving vehicles vigilance, because you don't often crew them to block. I don't think they need vigilance.
No, but I think that's the problem with vehicles.
Maybe
because the one and done effect on them means you tend to either use them for attack or you're using them for defense. Here you get the best of both worlds.
That is true. That's fair.
You have the possibility of both worlds.
This is also very good with Cultivator's Caravan, because you are able to use it as a mana rock later rather than just as an attacker. That is
and
very
we have
good.
Seen more vehicle. There's Veloheart Cycle from Aetherdrift, which is the mono green one.
There's even unlicensed hearse that you can attack with and then exile in response to your attack, which is great because it's got vigilance, so it's not tapped when you do it. Actually, I'm more on this than I realized.
I think this is going to give. I think we're going to see a newish or a subset of the Gruul artifacts archetype come into play with Valdir. Whether or not it's good, I don't know. I think it's worth trying. I would be intrigued to try this, and whilst Gruul is not my preferred colours, I'm wondering if I could adapt my existing Gruul deck, which is a Gruul Permanence deck, to work with this.
Potentially.
So, for me, I would be tempted to put this in. I can't remember the name of the creature, but it's the raccoon from Bloomborough.
Yeah.
To a vehicle deck.
Hang on, Moira or
no? It's I've got the deck. It's Bard, Bellow Bard. It's Bellow.
Bellow Bard of the Brambles.
Yeah. I don't even
there
consider
are a lot of vehicles that are
4 mana or higher,
which then means they are creatures regardless.
Yeah, you don't have to crew them, but you can crew them for the extra combat, but you don't have to.
Exactly.
That's nice. Yeah, sounds really cool.
Actually, then, as an adjunct to the Raccoons deck as a whole, because you could try and expend a whole bunch for that. I don't think I think it's going to be fringe. I don't think it's
and vehicles
I
are
don't think
fringe.
you'll see a lot of, but
yeah, we don't tend to see a lot of vehicles because the expense of getting them crewed and attacking is the problem.
look, I have tried so hard to get a Jeskai vehicles deck to work over the years, and even with Ether Drift, I am not sure that it's there. As you say, Greasefang is the good outlet for it.
But this is, I think, especially in Bellow, like this is a viable other option. Like Greasefang is obviously currently king of the vehicles, but I think this could get there.
But because the thing is, like even with Ether Drift, we didn't see, or at least I haven't seen, an uptick in Depala or Koladin decks.
Yeah, true.
Being built. So Boros vehicles is not the thing partly because also the support for Boros equipment has jumped in the last 2 years.
Yeah, right. So where are we going to place this wonderful duo?
As much as I would like to see this higher, it's really, without more support, it's gonna struggle. It's I would put it at C, but I'm not a huge vehicles person.
I genuinely think that this is a B.
I am,
because I think if the deck works, they are the best commander for it. And I think that they will be strong as a commander because they're 3 mana. Gruul creating lots of mana to have the extra combat is not difficult. I think this is a B.
Yeah, we're just going to. I didn't add this one to the list, so we're going to do that now. Well, I don't think I did. I can't find it.
It's fine. If we find it later, we can just pretend.
Yeah. Where are you?
I'm gonna step away for a quick bio break.
No, I tried playing Boros vehicles with the Depala and it didn't work very well. I suppose giving the vehicles vigilance helps a lot because then, like you say, you've got more chance of using them again. But it's the crewing that's the problem for me.
Yeah. Right, there we are. We can do this now. Right. I think B, I think I understand. C, I'm not much of a vehicles guy either. But I think this is an interesting pull enough for it to, and it's not going to be the strongest vehicle deck, but I do think that as a commander, it is stronger than Ash and Aerith. So I don't think it's
than Ash and Aerith,
so I think based on our very arbitrary tier system,
yeah,
it's a B. I think that's fair. But while we're waiting for
the more we flesh out each of these ranks, the easier it's going to be to add others to it.
Yes, I agree. There are some that are coming up that I'm very excited by. But yeah, we'll just wait for Chrono to rejoin us. Yeah. Hey, just as I said it was like a summoned Chrono.
No.
Yeah. Right. Oh, so we agree on B, I think. Did you say B, Chrono, for...
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay, cool. So, next we have got Barrett Wallace. This is a 4/4 for 4 mana uncommon human rebel with reach. Whenever Barrett Wallace attacks, it deals damage equal to the number of equipped creatures you control to defending player. This is super flavorful because at the start of the game, he is the leader of Avalanche. So him being stronger for everyone who is well equipped with you fighting the good fight, especially one of his key moments, in fact, is spoiler alert, when you are in sector 7, the pillar gets taken out by Shinra, and he is fighting with Avalanche to like stop it from being dropped. I think that's really flavorful. I think there's much more you could have done with this as well, but I do like that he cares about his teammates being stronger. I think that is key to his character. Red as well, very emotional character.
Very much a brash outflirt.
There's a thing in 7 and in Remake that they do this little nod to, and they have sort of done it in this picture. When Barrett has to do violence, he is wearing his sunglasses because he is a sensitive person, he is an emotional person, and he is only doing this because his family and his town were destroyed by the Shinra. And so he is an eco-terrorist because he's lashing out, and he knows that he is hurting innocent people, but he passes that by, I'm doing this to save the planet. And he then has like these different personas. When he speaks to his daughter Marlene, he never wears his sunglasses because he is showing his emotional side. When he is doing violence, he wears and it's sort of shown in the art because he's doing violence in the art. But he also why he adopted Marlene, exactly, Hayden. I think they could have done a bit more with this. There's ways that you could have included like a ping ability with this. I think that would have been more on his gun arm ability, taps deal damage to a number of creatures, like Goblin Sharpshooter. But I don't think this would be a commander. I think it's a...
I don't even see it going in equipment decks. Because
no, there are better ones.
Decks of Voltron.
Yeah, well, that is true for the most part, but they have leaned away from that with like...
We are starting to see more go white, and particularly with...
Job Select, Mirrodin...
Job Select, Mirrodin, for Mirrodin, that's made the equipment deck more go wide than it was. But, I mean, there's no getting away from the fact that most equipment decks are Voltron. And Cloud, the Precon Cloud, Cloud X Soldier, doesn't dissuade that in any way, shape, or form. Obviously, we're not talking about the Precon commanders, because I have
feelings about those.
I have feelings about Cloud in particular. But that's more about
some feelings because
it's more for his color identity and what that does for the archetype.
I also have feelings about Cloud being Naya, but
and that is a different conversation. As for Barrett,
I think he's D. I think he just is.
Yawn. I'm not even sure that he is going to go in my Boros equipment, my Jorkadine deck.
He goes in decks like the new Nahiri that cares about like lots of rebels and stuff, or living weapons.
That's the thing, though. I'm not even sure.
I think there's better cards, though.
I'm not even sure he does, because the likelihood is even in a dedicated like for Mirrodin Job Select deck, the likelihood of you attacking with more than 2 or 3 equipped creatures is low.
There is another archetype here that we've missed.
Modified by anything.
It deals damage. So, Infect.
No, because Infect is only combat damage.
Yes.
That's not necessarily true, because you can ping with Torwaki with Infect and put Infect counters on. It's all damage.
Sorry, Infect, not poisoned.
Infect's not poison.
Sorry, yes. No, because damage equal to the number of equipped creatures you control to defending player.
You put Infect on him and make board of 10.
Okay.
It's only 1. Yeah. It's bad. But it's a thing you can do.
That is a lot of setup, though.
It's bad, but it is a thing you can do.
And even then, I don't think you want him in the command zone.
No, I agree. I think this is a D. I think he's bad. It breaks my heart.
But And actually, from a mechanical perspective, I think it breaks my heart as well, because he is a 4-mana 4/4 with reach.
Yeah,
That's nothing to actually be sniffed at.
no, I think
but
this is a
he
limited card,
he's
probably.
a limited card,
but yeah, he's just not good enough for Commander. I don't think he's good enough for Standard.
Ironically, he's in the precon.
He is in the precon, but the precon does care about number of equipped creatures as well, because so it does make sense to a degree.
That's why I say, like, I might try him for a game in Jorkadeen, but I don't think he will stick. The other thing is, like, because those decks are more Boros, more red-white, you have better options in things like Ivor Battle Hardened from the Assassin's Creed starter deck, which deals damage equal to the number of equipment you have got. Which I think is a better way of doing. Unfortunately, is a better way of doing it because they don't have to be equipped.
Right, moving on. We are on to Bartz and Bocco, a 4/3 and 2 green affinity for birds, and when Bartz and Bocco enters, each other bird you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature and opponent controls. I don't think we need to talk about this much. It goes in Choco and nowhere else, like, or Derevi birds, but because it's green.
You don't see them as a commander themselves.
No, mostly because there aren't tons of mono green birds. There are some, but not enough. But the birds in green tend to be low powered, so them dealing damage to one creature and opponent controls isn't enough. This is great, however, if you haven't seen last week's stream, if he is great with Choco and Traveling Chocobo, because it's a double trigger. And when he enters from the Traveling Chocobo, and you already have a bunch of birds, generally, because you want to get as many Choco triggers. Great in there as a removal piece, but as a commander itself, I don't think it's good enough.
I agree.
Carrot, no, because it's specifically
equipped.
Equipment. Yeah.
It would work with Danny Plink, though, that turns everything into equipment. Is it Danny Plink that does that?
I don't know.
There's a red card that turns...
not your... No, Danny Pink is blue.
Which one am I thinking
You're
of?
thinking of... Graham.
Yes!
Hang on. Is it Graham or is it... No, it's not Graham. It's the one that was played by the comedian.
John Bishop.
Yeah, the one played by John Bishop.
John Bishop on a magic card.
His character does it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
okay. So yeah, I think
Bartz and Bocco.
It's the
In the 99.
In the 99, great in bird decks, great in Morophon decks, maybe where you're doing different types.
You want to pair him with white. You want to pair him with white or blue. The only way I could see him, this pair being your commander, is if you were able to consistently get Contra's Closet onto the field.
Yeah. I mean, also affinity for birds, it does give you, I guess, in some weird way, this is such a convoluted line, but you could do things with greater good and get the cost reduced for his affinity for birds, but I don't think it's good enough.
The real question is, how many mono green birds exist for this to be?
I don't think there's many off the top of my head. I think I've got most of them in my Choco list. They're mostly white and blue.
This set has basically bolstered the number of green birds that there are, but the problem with that is Chocobo don't fly.
Because they're basically ostriches.
So you have the issue that a lot of existing bird typal decks don't want them,
They just want flyers. They're not bird type, or they're flying type.
Yeah, exactly. So 19 cards that are mono green with the bird.
Yeah, definitely not worth it.
Oh, no, actually, no, 18 because one of them is Kian. Yeah. And one of them's okay, even less. One of them is Squirrel Dealer from the from Unstable. So you're looking at about 15 cards, and maybe.
How big are they? What's the biggest one?
Technically, Kazal Pathbreaker out. The flip side of not Holger. The Tiefling Druid from the D&D film. But the version that they've done, either that or what's called Kazal Liquid Pathfinder, is 3/3 becomes a 6/6. Fat Chocobo, so Fat Chocobo is 4/4.
So really, you'd have to put all the damage, like power and toughness doublers. You'd have to put pump spells. Like it's just not good enough. Next, though, we have Beatrix Loyal General. It is a 4/4 with vigilance for 4 and 2 white for a human soldier. We know someone who likes those. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may attach any number of equipment you control to target creature you control. There's so many better. So many better.
We've got this effect already.
Armory Automaton in your command zone?
For
Come
6
on.
mana.
Yeah. I love this effect. I think she's too expensive to be your commander.
Yep, I agree. I think we go D. Like she just.
No, I don't think she's a D. Yeah.
Do you not?
I think she's a C. Yeah.
She's a good card, but too expensive. Again,
she is a good she's very.
Are we paying?
She's similar to Arden.
Any number, I guess, but Arden is just way better.
But I think she does. She's got a very good text box, but it's too expensive. If we're being as reduction,
she's not as good. She is better than Boko. I will give you that. Yeah. Okay. She's better by virtue of being better than.
Redundancy on the effect of being able to put your equipment on for free is an absolute requirement in equipment decks, because that cost gets so expensive so quickly.
Right. Yeah. Next chat though is one I'm very excited by.
Black Waltz number 3.
Black Waltz number 3. This is a 2/2.
Did anybody ask for a better gutter snipe?
This is so good. This is a 2/2 flying death touch for 2 and Rakdos, and whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Black Waltz number 3 deals 2 damage to each opponent. This is my next Pauper EDH deck, and you will see that in a couple of weeks. This is cracked.
Yeah. I was very tempted to build this as well.
So cracked because you could put Phyresis in here and just you only have to cast 5 spells. Then it's so busted. It's good.
You don't. This card needs no explanation for it being good. It is going to. It is. We are going to see it in. We're going to see it in play at regular Commander deck.
This is good in Pauper and Commander.
It's amazing in Pauper, and it's good to great in regular.
Yeah. I think this largely depends on what you're putting in as well, because you
have so much option.
There is no, but I mean, I get why he has Death Touch and flying as a flavor thing. I get all of the flavor. He doesn't need Death Touch. You're not attacking with this guy.
No, but you want him with the Death Touch for control, for board control. For all the things which say that he will do X damage to a creature.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
goodness knows, Arcbound. Because how many times have we had? Sorry, let me start that sentence again. He adds to the effects of putting Death Touch onto spells and non-creature spells.
Judith,
which is exactly where I was going to go. So I genuinely think he actually supplants Judith as
I agree,
as the commander in that sort of deck, because there's also
Judith does one or other, right? You make an imp that pings, or you give your spells Death Touch and Lifelink. Whereas he can essentially do both if you put the right spells in.
I think Judith goes into the 99 of Black Waltz now, along with the. I don't think it's a. I don't think it's a legendary, but it was from. There is a creature which gives a mono black creature which gives all of your spells lifelink and death touch.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
I don't
can't remember.
Well,
It's from M20 or M21 or something like that.
But I can see this featuring heavily in Rakdos control.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just.
Well,
great.
it's not. Yeah, Rakdos control. We are going to see a lot of Rakdos Wizards decks. And I think not just in Commander, in so many formats. Rakdos in Standard has just got a lot better, and it didn't need to. Because once you couple this with all of the token token makers that make 0/1 Black Wizards, the Mardu tokens has just got so much better as well.
Yeah, there is Black Mage's Rod. That is a common that gives you one of these. So you've got free damage there just off getting them both out. This is so good. I'm wholeheartedly gonna put I think this is A, possibly S even, but that was just could be me being biased. I think this is A though for sure.
Yeah.
This is definitely A.
Is there an argument for it to be S? I think there could be. Like,
I genuinely think there is.
Because you can in normal Commander as well. So
actually, you know what? I think the argument for it being S is because it's not just good in Pauper.
It's good, yeah. That's in Standard Commander, you have access to the damage triplers, and then you're really cooking, like you're really churning it out.
There. Oh God, yeah.
You could put the Lord of Pain in this deck. You could put this is so good.
Yeah. This makes an existing archetype even better.
Yeah. It's going at S. Yeah. I'm very happy about it. And also, the deck I've built is super scary. Joe was like, "You're a bad man for building this."
So I've just been sat looking at how long we've been going and how many we've got through. We're either going to have to not do a lot or speed up significantly.
Yes, I agree. We have been chatting a lot because we
may have to break this into multiple parts.
We might have to, yeah. So let's do a next couple, I guess, and then we can pick this up another time because we are at the 2-hour mark and just got to.
We've just got to see.
Got to see.
You know what? Let's do C, and then we can
C,
pick up
and then we finish Cloud Planets Champion. Yeah, we'll pick it back up at Diamond Weapon. That seems like a good place to start, actually. Yeah, okay. So the next one is our first transforming card. This is Cecil Dark Knight. 1 black mana for a 2/3 human knight with Death Touch and has Darkness. Whenever Cecil deals damage, you lose that much life. Then, if your life total is less than or equal to half your starting life total, untap Cecil and transform it. And he transforms into Cecil, Redeemed Paladin, 4/4 lifelink with Protect. Whenever Cecil attacks, other attacking creatures gain indestructible until end of turn.
He attack, he protect.
He does everything. Ultimisha is the best commander card in the set, Fredyo. I'm not sure, but I think she is good. But I don't think we're going to get to her this time. Unfortunately, she is quite far down the list. But Cecil was in a few of the games that I played last night in pre-release. A 2/3 Death Touch, man, is so good. Like, I think, and then this is Orzhov. You are paying life for stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to do Minwu another time. I think we were going to gauge how this went, and this has gone quite well, so I think we will pick this up again soon. I don't know if it goes in the command zone.
I think it does.
The reason why I think it does is it's 1 mana is very, very good.
A turn 1 blocker in a Azorius or potentially mono black deck is going to be big.
My problem with this, and it is a very minute problem, I don't think it's like very hard to overcome. You have to get your life to 19 very quickly for this to be a thing. Now that's doable.
20.
So doable.
No, it's less than, isn't it?
Less than or equal to half your life.
Oh, it is equal to. Oh, right. So yeah, 20. So it's doable if you have Kirik in your deck. You can do that very quickly.
Not even that. Like, I can see him being a role player in things like Creek, Gix. He works well with all of them. I think, as you say, his biggest plus is that he is a 1 mana 2/3 with Death Touch. You will get in early with him. If he dies early, he is easily recastable.
That's true. I am sort of also inclined to think there's a place for this to be where you have some form of sacrifice him to get value.
Even if you just use him as a cheap sacker. Because how often do we use things like Gravecrawler and such
as fodder?
As fodder for that. But I think 1 mana 2/3 Death Touch, swing out on turns 2, 3, 4 before other people have got a board presence.
Yeah.
People are not inclined to block him because of the
greed.
Death Touch.
Yeah. Greed is very good in this. Yeah.
Yes, greed is good.
Greed is good.
Rule of acquisition number something. Greed is good. And then, so your ability to get to 20 and flip him is easy.
Is this a commander damage centric? It's commander damage centric.
I think he is a
because I think
he is a Vulture.
Hack's weapon is the thing that let you pay life to equip it. There's
Hacked weapon, Vorpal sword.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, and this is what I would say that pulls him down, is that it is glass cannon.
Yes.
The deck as a whole is pulling in 2 different directions. You either want to be full on mono, like the mono black sacrifice, and then you push the life gain at the end. But the problem is, if you then once you switch him to his protect side, and you start gaining life, it makes it you need reasonable ways to manipulate your life total consistently.
Cheap edition.
It's not difficult.
It's not difficult.
And Orzhov is the master of doing so. But I have a funny feeling that you may often find yourself caught on the wrong side of the line at the wrong time.
Yeah, I agree.
In order for him to think, I think his ceiling is really high. I think the ceiling on him is really high.
I think the floor might be even lower because I think you're right. He doesn't protect himself. He protects your other stuff when he attacks.
Correct.
If you are at 20 life and then he dies, you bring him back. He doesn't have Death Touch. No, he has Lifelink. So you're getting the life back.
On the other side.
So you're getting the life back, and then he dies. You recast him, and you're back to this. Like, it's. And he has to deal damage to transform him. He has to deal damage, and then you lose the life. And then, but he doesn't have to do. Sorry, I've just jumped down there. He doesn't have to do combat damage. So there is a world where you can make him into a pinger with, like Viridian Bow or whatever else there is. There is a world in that where you can do that.
I'm going to I want to try him in Gitrog, in my Death Touch deck. I do think he is going to see a lot of play as a commander. I think that his cheapness outweighs a lot of things. And black wants to be and there are a lot of black archetypes that want to be cavalier with their life total.
Yeah, there are. You're right. I could actually see this going in the Baldur's Gate enchantment commanders, where they become you get an extra effect when your life total is past half. Like there's Merkel that would turn. There's Merkel that would turn his flip side into an enchantment when he dies, but or there's. I forgot what the other ones do, but there's Bane that does something, but he goes in both.
Does Merkel remove the creature though?
He might actually, and I think he does have to attack when.
That's the problem, so that wouldn't work.
Yeah, but maybe he goes in Bane. I've forgotten what Bane does. Let's have a quick look. Bane MTG.
I honestly don't know how to grade this one.
Bane, whenever another non-token creature you control dies, target opponent may have you draw a card. If they don't, you may put a creature card with equal or lesser toughness from your hand onto the battlefield. So it's going to be 3 or 4, and you could get that back.
But this with all of the Bob effects that we have.
I think it's a strong B, maybe A. I don't think it's S.
No, Cecil is definitely not S. I think you're right in that he is. I think he is a high B. I think I think that's mostly on the grounds that there is a lot of room. There is a lot of room for maneuver with him in your command zone.
Yeah, I mean, 1 mana commander is nothing to sniff at by any means.
No. 1 mana, 2/3 Death Touch with a drawback that isn't really a drawback for a black or a black-white deck. Nah.
No, I think that's very good.
Oh no, I can't run him in Gitrog. Why am I thinking his backside is white?
You can do it in the Abzan one. I thought that's the one that you meant.
Sorry, yeah. I don't have a copy of that, but I kind of want to try that deck because there are actually quite a lot of white-black creatures with Death Touch that I can't run in Gitrog.
Yeah, I don't think I added Sissel to the list. I can't find him. Right, well, download him before we move on to the next one. Which
I do think he is difficult to evaluate, though.
Yeah, he is tricky.
He doesn't sit nicely with an archetype, and I think that's there's a lot of ways you can go with it.
I think the archetype, as we've said, the archetype he goes into is black life drain or life manipulation. So he is, but it's a question of whether he is the commander for that deck or whether he is a role player in the 99. I think it is a toss up between whether you want Creek or Cecil now as the commander for that deck.
Ironically, you can't play this in Crick.
No, you could only play Sissel and then have.
Oh, sorry. You can't play him if Crick is your commander. Yeah.
No.
So, again, keep forgetting. I should know this. I play Orzhov a lot, but yeah. But I think it's because he doesn't have the type marker on his front.
Yeah, but yeah. Moving on.
Same for all transforming double face permanents.
Yeah.
Moving on, we have Choco, Seeker of Paradise. This is one of my builds that I played last week. This is 1 and Bant, so that's green, white, and blue for a legendary creature bird who is a 3/5. Whenever 1 or more birds you control attack, look at that many cards from the top of your library. You may put 1 of them into your hand, then put any number of your land cards from among them onto the battlefield tapped, and the rest into your graveyard. And then it has the Chocobo text, which is landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, Choco gets +1/+0 until end of turn. This is the bird commander outright. I have played this a bunch of times now, and each time it has done more work than I expect it's going to do. Every time.
To me, this just reads like every other Bant commander from the last 3 years.
yeah. Play something, put lands onto the battlefield, get a card.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
It's pushing it into a niche with the birds, but between green and blue, you've got enough stuff to make all of your creatures birds. It's not going to matter.
It doesn't. Do you know what I've had to put shufflers into this deck so that I can just get all the lands out of my deck and then just have gas in my library, because there's just no way you can do it otherwise.
I'm going to annoy a lot of people here.
You hate this card.
It is so linear, it's boring.
It is, but all typo cards are like.
No, I don't think they're that. But I think you are right, Martin. It is almost like every single Bant legend we have got.
It does remind me of Tulane with wings. Cullen with wings.
It doesn't do anything exciting. It doesn't do anything exciting for me. And I know I'm going to apologize to Birds and Pair of Dice here, but this is a boring card. It really is.
I mean, it doesn't have any flying, but it's because it's a chocolate.
Yeah, and actually, the fact that it doesn't fly is to me a massive disadvantage.
But there are ways to give it trample.
You're in blue. Giving it flying is actually trivial.
It's arbitrary.
It doesn't need to fly.
No.
The thing
if you're running this in blue-white flyers as the commander for your blue-white flyers, but then if you're running as your commander for blue-white birds, this runs into the same problem that I have with Cloud. Because you've taken a 2-color, and I'm going to say it. So you've taken a decent 2-color combination and added green to it, which makes it easy.
That's essentially what we've done, isn't it? We've taken blue-white birds and said have some ramp, but
I know I'm channeling Cryptic here. Cryptic Dinger's head. You've added green to it and turned it into easy mode because
it is easy.
So easy.
Green has made tacking green onto this. It's like why did it have to be? Why did it have to be green? I know because it is grounded. Because if they get birds in blue-white for this set, they would have had to make them fly. Green is the easy way out.
Couldn't be red, really.
No. But I think you could. And I know, and to make them monocolor wouldn't have worked. So I understand why they have put green in as a color identity. I just don't like it.
No,
it is a lot. I mean, I run into this same problem with typo commanders in a way. I think there's some that are interesting, but generally speaking, is get the good cards in X type. And
I do actually love birds. I do want to do a bird typal deck. I've had a Azorius Flyers typal deck for a while that I've finally taken apart.
I mean, this is very, very good as a bird commander.
Yes,
it's just the best one currently by quite a mile,
by country mile.
It's. I mean, we've not talked about the flavor of this card. The reason why it cares, ideally, I think you're supposed to attack with it, and then so when you are playing Chocobo Hot and Cold in 9, you are digging for treasure. So you're digging through your deck. So you basically go peck in the ground until you find what you want, and then discarding the rest, which is basically what you're doing. And also you're searching for this Chocobo Sky Palace as well, which is another thing. So the land sort of go into that. I think flavorfully it's a great card. I can see the frustrations you have. It is just a good Bant card. And it's not even hard to get out on turn 3. It's just not. That's
the thing. It's like I said, it's doing the Bant thing that, Culane had, what Kellen had. This is Bant Kellen, by the way, the one that says when you cast something, do another thing for free.
Oh yeah, that guy.
But it is focusing it into an archetype that doesn't normally that I very rarely see at a table.
That's true. I don't see many birds. I think Joe, one of our other co-hosts, did have a bird type
because
deck.
there isn't a good bird. There hasn't been a good bird typal commander, one that is specifically birds, until we got the new version of Kanji.
We just got that one actually. Is it Castrol?
And now we got Castrol, the Windbreaker,
Windcrested.
Windcrested.
The mono white one from Lord of the Rings as well. I can't remember.
Gwahir.
That's
But again, mono white, whereas you want
that's
Azorius.
white blue. It's white blue.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah.
But weirdly enough, I think the best the best bird type of commander up until this point would be Zinnia.
Zinnia. Oh, Offspring.
Yeah, for the Offspring effect.
I felt for sure you're going to say Derevi because you get to untap stuff when they hit. But yeah.
I mean,
Zinnia is more interesting for sure.
Zinnia is more interesting for a typal build than Derevi is. Derevi is not a typal build in any way, shape, or form, unless you are specifically doing birds. Like, as in, you go out of your way to hamstring your deck. Now, I'm no stranger to hamstringing my deck because of a typal restriction, but.
So where are we placing this feathery boy?
Chocobo is an A.
It has to be A. Easy A.
I don't want to put him at A, but he is an easy A.
He's not an S.
No.
Powerful.
Himself, terrible. But
powerful, great. You know, you attack with 3 birds, you get a land. He's hitting for 4 or more.
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing people try and do interesting things with Choco. Because
Don't look at my list then, because
I think after this initial thing, and if for people who are breaking out of just doing it as a set only birds list, like to do it as a for anyone who is breaking out of the flavor, just doing the flavor of Final Fantasy, I think people will get bored of this guy fairly quickly, and we will start to see variations on what a bird deck can do and should be.
Yeah, genuinely, I think you're right. I have had fun playing this for the past couple of weeks, but I don't necessarily see Choco being one that I keep together. This feels very much like when I first started playing Commander with Martin, and I had a Sliver deck. And felt great for a couple of weeks. Like, look at all this cool stuff. Gets a bit linear, gets a bit boring after a while.
Can I ask? Actually, I haven't looked at your Choco list.
Yeah.
Do you run Dovescape?
Dovescape? I don't know if I do. Dovescape? What's Dovescape?
Because Dovescape
gives you birds instead.
Dovescape is a horrible card.
I did think about putting it in. I did think about it.
Because one of the directions I can see with this is that you basically do
bank control. Bank control.
That is bank control. And I can see that being a direction that this takes.
Yeah, that could be pretty good, actually, because you don't even need...
That would be interesting.
You could just use Cheerios and just get loads of birds for 0 mana. Yeah, that'd be funny. Moving on, we have got Sid, Timeless Artificer. This is there's one of these for each of the Final Fantasies. They are 4/4 for 4 mana, 2 white-blue. Artifact creatures and heroes you control get +1/+1 for each Artificer you control and each Artificer card in your graveyard. And the deck can have any number of cards named Sid Timeless as Artificer and has cycling for white and a blue.
I don't think we really need to talk much about him. He's
A?
He's A.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yes. 30 copies of him, and the rest of the deck is artifact creatures or mana rocks.
I mean, again,
I suppose
the base version of this deck is going to be very linear and probably quite boring.
It's going to be Ornithopter getting henched, isn't it?
Yeah.
Always.
He is a blue-white artifact. He is a blue-white artifacts commander.
They never do anything busted.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is going. He is reasonably cheap at 4 mana. He is a typal. He is a typal commander for a type which doesn't have very many. His Artificer matters, which is a type that hasn't had a lot of love, but directly, I mean, there is incidental love by dint of being in those colors. He cycles.
Yeah, he does cycle.
And by putting you can have loads of copies of him in your graveyard, because
you're gonna say you can use Thrumming Stone, and then they all die anyway, so go to the graveyard to stay base actions.
Thrumming Stone for more uses of Ripple. I mean, Thrumming Stone is a bit of an awkward thing because it's so expensive, so you don't see it in casual tables.
Lockets of Yesterday, though, very good in this.
Yeah, you can, because it is based on the name of your commander. You can cast your commander, have him in play, sack. He gets he dies or gets sacked. Leave him in your graveyard. Cycle the one that you just drew, and put that one into your command zone.
Does that work?
I would need to check, but I don't think.
I always thought that commander was an attribute of
the card.
Your commander, not not the name.
But do you know what? I've just realised as well as another card that never gets seen. I just need to find it really quickly, chat.
But the thing is, like, they're all the same version of the card. That is the card.
Yeah, this is. I'll be honest. This is the first legendary creature to have this.
Yeah.
Line on it.
That might need checking. Yeah.
The rules will be firmed up.
Yeah, there is a card called Assembly Hall from Mercadian Masks for 5 mana, and you can tap 4 and tap it to reveal a creature card in your hand to search your library for a copy of that card and put it into your hand. So that is a repeatable tutor for SIDS.
That's it. Again, the most of the decks for this are going to be relatively linear.
Mm-hmm.
I look forward again.
I don't think it's
Artificer Typal.
Well, is it? It's better than B actually. I think
it is.
You're right.
It is better than B.
I guess my problem with this is that the Capitalian Triad does this thing better. Because Joe has this deck, Capitalian Triad, and you can very easily just make your Ornithopter a 9/9 very quickly.
The problem is the Capitalian Triad is colorless, sir.
Yeah, but your artifacts
the other way
are.
around. You play Capitalian Triad in this deck.
Yeah.
Then your
That's
9/9s
true.
become 25/25s very quickly.
Okay, I'm convinced.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one very silly interaction that's not going to happen a lot of the time. But
No.
Yeah. Right, Sid, A. I mean, yeah, I feel like Sid is about the same as Choco. That feels fair. Better than Steiner. Yeah, okay. Right, moving on. We have got Clive. Clive, Ifrit's Dominant, is a 5/5 for 4 and 2 red human noble warrior. When Clive enters, you may discard your hand, then draw cards equal to your devotion to red. And then you can tap 6 mana and tap him to exile Clive and return him as Ifrit, Warden of Inferno. And Ifrit is a 9/9. Lunge. Ifrit fights up to 1 of a target creature. Chapter 2 and 3 is Brimstone. Add 4 red mana. If Ifrit has 3 or more lore counters on it, exile it and return it to the battlefield tapped. That has to be tapped because you could just keep doing it over and over again.
Yeah.
I'm unsure how I feel about this. I like the fact that he becomes a 9/9. I hate the fact that it's an enters ability for his wheel effect, because when he transforms, he doesn't re-enter.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, it does.
Is it? Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's great. Yeah. Okay. So you could. This is kind of like Neheb.
6 mana to have a 9/9 fight. That seems like a lot. Dodge removal, great, but I don't know.
It is a creature after all. A 9/9 creature. It does not have haste, so I'm guessing when you flip it, you can't attack with it on the first turn.
No, you can't. But it will fight.
I want this to have haste.
Yes.
Wait, it can transform. It's transformed. It doesn't exile. No, exile Clive then return.
Yeah.
It does
Yeah,
exile. It does
because
exile.
it has to in order to get the law counters.
Yeah.
This is.
He should have haste.
A nice card. It is too expensive.
It should
he
have
does
haste.
not protect himself well.
You need 12 mana and haste to protect it. No, activate only as a sorcery. Doesn't work, bad boy.
Yeah. So, if you are cast 6 mana for a 5/5 with the wheel effect is not bad in of itself, and I could see him being cast just for that.
Yeah.
But
I think this is,
as you say, if you are going to do that, you might as well play Neheb. You might as well play. There's a bunch of cards that you could do for this mana effect. The only way I see this as being a commander is if you have a lot of ways to give your creatures haste. So you're in the Perforos, you're in the kind of like Perforos build. And you are doing things like Warstorm Surge.
Yes.
The thing is, I think there are decks that are doing that already better.
Yeah, I think you are building this because you really like Clive. You're not building this because Clive is the best one to do this.
You are putting him in the 99 of that deck.
Yes.
Because goodness knows you having something that comes in, deals 5 damage, and flips to be a 9 damage creature.
Yep.
Great. I don't think you want him in the command zone. No?
I wholeheartedly
on top of
agree.
dealing the 5 damage,
a wheel effect is nice.
Replenish your hand.
Yeah.
In the red devotion deck.
Like that's the one thing I think that's got going for him in the command zone.
Yeah, because it is devotion to red as well, so you can put like lots of.
The thing is, and by the time you are casting him, you have hopefully got
emptied your hand probably at that point.
At least
you've emptied your hand, and you've got your damage doublers, your haste enablers. Mm-hmm. You've got Fervor or Perforos or any number of the aggravated assault kind of thing on the field. That's the reason why I could see him being in the command zone, not for the fact that he flips into a 9/9.
So where are we placing this beefy boy? I think it's going to be. I don't think it's A.
He's a low B or a high C, I think.
Yeah. I agree. Do I think Clive is better than as good as Steiner or not?
No.
No, because I think
I
Steiner
agree.
is a high. The thing is, I think Steiner is a high B.
Clive is a C. Don't agree with it? Fight me. Right. All right. Right. So we are nearly done. So we have got 3 more to look at.
One Sid card can be your commander. Okay, right.
This one.
Only one Sid can be your commander, but you can have as many as you want in the rest of the deck.
There can only be one.
But it's only that one card that will be treated as your commander.
Okay.
Yeah. Right, this one is terrible.
What?
Cloud of Darkness. Cloud of Darkness,
I've
not
got
Cloud.
them in a different order.
Yeah.
Cloud of Darkness is a free flying avatar for 2 black, green. And when Cloud of Darkness enters, target creature and opponent controls get -X until end of turn, where X is the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. This is just
5 mana for a single target.
5 mana for worst murder. Like it's terrible.
It's a D. We don't even need to.
We don't.
There are better removal cards in Golgari for less mana.
I mean, the minus is kind of nice, but we have overkill now. Like, it's terrible.
And you don't want a 3/3 flyer for 5 is awful rate, even in Golgari.
Yeah, it is terrible.
If it can go in F, we're putting it in F. We don't have
We don't have an F, but yeah, it's definitely the worst one.
Yeah.
I don't think I even got that picture. I can't find it. So
You
we'll...
probably left it out deliberately.
Yeah,
Actually,
it's such
there you go. It's that bad. We're not even putting it in the list.
unrated, yeah. Right.
Now, this one I'm excited for. This next one I'm excited for.
Hang on.
This is a big one.
Yeah, I think this is cool. I'm on the wrong scene. There we are. EDH Trade. Cloud Midgard Mercenary is a 2/1 expensive boy at $35 currently. When a legendary creature, human soldier mercenary. When Cloud enters, search your library for an equipment card, reveal it, and put it into your hand and shuffle. As long as Cloud is equipped, if an ability of Cloud or an equipment attached to it triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. I think that's good.
That's good.
I think it's better in the 99.
You're not going to get Cloud's ETB trigger doubled anytime. Not easily from that second ability.
No, you are not. There is a way if you had Helm of the Host, but maybe. Nope, that doesn't work either.
No, because it's when a name is referenced on the card, that specific card, that specific permanent on the board.
Yeah, but I do like Helm of the Host in this deck because you can exponentially get more clouds.
Exactly.
Which is very funny to me.
And then it grows. It's that second ability that just does it for me because I'm here that with sword off, the sword off in my head.
Argentum armor.
Yeah,
is great. Any of the Annihilate, the mace that gives Annihilator, that might be mono black though. Thinking about it, this is very good. I don't know if it's. I think this is better in the 99.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. I love this. This hurts me to say this because I love Cloud, but he is strong. He has a strong effect. Yeah, but no, he's not. I think Ward is better because they'll trigger twice. But,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Lava Spur Boots is your friend here.
Yeah,
definitely.
Because people will miss that trigger. They're like, sure,
I'll pay the one.
Do it twice. Do it again. I think. I don't know if it's it's very good.
Commander. I can't see it replacing Shram, but I can see people building this as an equipment commander.
This is potentially going to outdo Thram.
Yeah, there are plenty of Masks of Memory that draw you cards. My problem, this is the thing, it is good. I think there are better. I think my problem with equipment commanders is that you, generally speaking, have to spend mana on the equip cost, and there is a brief period between paying the mana and equipping that your target is vulnerable, and that's why I like the next Cloud much better than this Cloud. I think this Cloud goes in that deck.
I don't think you're wrong. However, I think the thing that being overlooked here is cost.
Yeah, it's very cheap.
Double white.
If we're talking about him as a commander, that's not really an issue. You're playing him in a mono white deck. You have got a mono white. You've got a mono white equipment deck. 2 mana. He comes down on turn 2. Finds your Batter Skull. Or not even that. Basilisk Collar.
Boots, probably.
Finds your Sword of the Animist. Find something nice and
something not scary.
He gets Shadow Spear. You've got your Shadow Spear out on turn 3. Yeah. He is a repeatable tutor in the command zone.
He has to enter. So you are. This is the other thing. He enters and you tutor. He's not attack. So you are flickering. If you
tutor in the command zone.
Tutor in the command zone is good. I'm not denying that, but you are either flickering him, and therefore the equipment attached to him is meaningless, or you are sacrificing him, and then he gets exponentially more expensive.
You are flickering him to tutor him to get the tutors for the multiple times, and then equipping him.
And then we go back 10 cards. We've got enough creatures that exist in Magic now that we can just say, right, I'm going to attack. Everything goes on Cloud. Bish bash bosh. Someone's dead.
Yeah, like he is a Voltron. He is a Voltron commander. He is a better Kemba. As much as it pains me to say, he is a better Kemba. Kemba Car region or the newest Kemba. But obviously, those Kembas are more looking at token base, at go wide strategy. So,
okay.
He is astonishingly good in the command zone.
I think he is an A personally. I don't think he's B. I think he's stronger than B. I don't think he's S by any margin.
I think he is low S. I genuinely think that he is an S tier commander. I will put him at A if that is the consensus.
No, it sounds like I am actually outranked here.
Going to do some serious.
We are going to see a stupid number of Cloud Midgard mercenary decks.
I mean, I am happy for him to have Helm of the Host because that for me is hilarious. But
that's
Helmet. The problem with Helm of the Host is it is really expensive.
Yeah.
We don't see Helm of the Host. We don't actually see Helm of the Host as often as we probably ought to.
Oh yeah, it's a great card.
But we probably will see more of it.
Helm of the Host is particularly good in this deck because you do get the tutor just from Cloud entering, so you get 2 clouds off your first one because you make one and another, and then.
And if the first artifact you go and find isn't even any of the ones that I have mentioned, but is Hammer of Nazan.
Oh,
you can't play that in this deck.
Oh, is it
the green white?
No,
is it? No, it's not.
It was.
No, you're thinking of Behemoth Sledge.
Yeah, you're thinking
Hammer of Nazan is colorless.
Yeah, it definitely.
I run it in Kemba.
My apologies.
Yeah, you're thinking of actual Nazan.
Actual Nazan, yeah.
Yeah. Nazan is green white.
When you cast equipment, you equip them for free.
Correct.
Cigar's Aid as well.
Ooh. Yeah, okay.
So you go and do
fine,
that.
You've convinced me with the Hammer of Nazan.
Effect. Yeah.
Right.
I will be shocked if 8 times out of 10 the first equipment that is got isn't Hammer of Nazan or Shadow Spear.
Yeah. Right. Our last one for this evening.
Or Lightning Greaves.
Our last one for this evening.
Sort of thing.
I see a world where the first piece you get is boots. Then
one of the boots or Lava Spur or maybe even Lightning Greaves is a bit of a non-bow because of Shroud, but a pair of boots, Hammer of Nazan.
And then if you get to a point where you're finding Helm of the Host, you're then finding indestructible pieces to prevent his death.
Look, even push comes to shove, further down the line, he goes and finds Caldra Complete.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're just scared. Hayrim with the Ultimate. I was looking for Ultimecia, but Ultima came up because somebody on our YouTube chat asked if we could do Ultimecia. I don't know if you're still in chat though, so if you are, maybe, but if not, then we'll just do it next time. But Cloud's Planet Champion is a 4/4 human soldier mercenary for 3 red/white. During your turn, as long as Cloud is equipped, it has double strike and indestructible. Equipped abilities you activate that target Cloud cost 2 less to activate. This is found in the starter decks. I think this is pretty good. It still has the problem of being vulnerable at the time before you equip it. But that's
always going to be the case.
That's always going to be the case. Yeah, that just is going to be the case. But I think all you need is a cheap artifact out equipped to this, and then he is protected for your turn. I mean, you can do a lot of the swords deal damage. A trigger when you deal damage, so you're already getting double triggers. With Cloud, you're getting 4 triggers off those swords of fire and ice and whatnot.
So Midgard Mercenary is specifically what's equipped to Midgard Mercenary.
Oh right, yeah. No, it's or to it, right? Or to it. Yeah. You are right.
This is a very solid. This is a very solid commander. The fact that he reduces the equip costs helps overcome the main problem that we have said, that equipment is very expensive to attract. Although that has been steadily coming down of late. As equipment has gotten better and better, we are seeing more ways to either cheaply attach equipment or to cheat the attachment cost of equipment. The weird thing is, I really like this card. I will probably put him in my Jorkadin deck. I think he is the third tier Cloud in the.
I agree. I very much agree. I think he's good. I think there are better Boros equipment cards. Nahiri is like the go-to for Boros equipment. Generally, I think there are better ones. I think he does a lot of stuff well, but there are things we already have stronger commanders. I think if you were just getting into this because you're a Final Fantasy fan and you want to build an equipment deck, Cloud is a very good entry level for that, I think.
Especially if you're picking up the starter deck.
Yeah, because there's loads of stuff in there already.
This guy is going to be a lot more readily available at the start than the Commander Precon version is.
Yeah.
Or the set for all Midgar Mercenaries. Because he is going to be stupidly expensive.
And the starter kits are cheaper than this Cloud currently.
They are 16 quid.
You can buy 2 of those for 1 of these Clouds currently. That's insane. So anyway, where are we putting our handsome boy?
A.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly there.
He'd go up in my estimation if he was 4 mana.
Or had haste, maybe like the Naya one does.
4 mana or had haste. Give him one extra keyword. But the thing is, give him haste and he basically becomes his Commander Precon version.
That's true. He does, essentially.
Which I think is the way I will rank them is, I think Mono White Cloud is number 1, Naya Cloud is 2, Boros Cloud is 3.
I have words about that, but I think that's because the thing I like about the Naya card. We're
talking about Cloud. We might as well talk about him.
Right. Let's scroll down to handsome. Where's the other handsome boy?
He won't be on this list because this is
he'll be.
No, I've gone down to Commander 1 down here. So here he is. When Cloud enters, attach up to 1 target equipment you control to it and has haste. And when you attack, you draw a card for each equipped attacking creature you control. Then if Cloud has power 7 or greater, create 2 treasures. I think that this is better because has haste, has the card draw, 3 equip. It just gets attached to it immediately. So you're not even targeting Cloud, but the equipment just gets attached to it. I think that's
objectively, I agree. Subjectively, why the F does he have green? It is exactly the same argument as Choco. Green streamlines all of the issues that Boros equipment. Green streamlines a lot of the issues that Boros equipment has, which is often issues with its mana base and the ability to overcome the equip costs, which I see as a deck building restriction with Boros. That it is deliberately part of the color pie to do that. The fact that you have added green to Cloud, he does exactly the same issue as I have with Dogmeat, the Dogmeat deck from Fallout. Why the F are you putting green on things which are inherently either green-white or red-white?
I think with Dogmeat it's more forgivable because green-white tends to be more auras, and Dogmeat does auras and equipment.
Yeah, because he's got enchantments as well.
None of that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I don't see what's like, and from everything that people have said and discussed about Cloud, why is he green? I don't get the green part.
Right. I have opinions about this card. I do not think green is the right way to go because red, I'd even venture that Cloud should have some black in his color identity because at the very start, at the very least, he is very much out for himself. He is unaware of his past. He is making things up essentially as he goes along, not necessarily knowing that. But
out for himself is not necessarily black because that is a very red trait. Selfishness is red.
I would have thought. I mean, you could make the argument that I know, even though it wasn't necessarily his choice, having spoiler alert, Genova cells and Mako infused into him is a power at all costs.
But was that him or?
He wanted to become a soldier before he necessarily knew what that meant, and right.
I think that is not necessarily an argument for black, but it is very definitely an argument for red.
Yeah, I think green is tricky to pass because green.
I don't see what's green about him. That's
the only thing I can put with this is. Green is the color of nature, as we can see by Bugenhagen, who is the leader of Cosmo Canyon and very much a planetologist. And being the champion of Gaia, maybe is where we have got the green from. But really, Cloud is fighting because he is trying to fight his past. He is fighting. Even when he knows who is at the start, he's trying to defeat Sephiroth because Sephiroth. In his mind has done like there are some story points he gets right, but story points he gets wrong. But Sephiroth burnt down Nibelheim, so he's trying to avenge Nibelheim to a degree. But towards the end, he is trying to defeat Sephiroth because he's trying to defeat his trauma. That doesn't seem very green related. But anyway,
yeah,
maybe Mako Hayrim. Bugenhagen, Mako, maybe there's a link there. But then you've got that on Barrett, and I can definitely see why Barrett is red-green, because he is fighting for the planet.
Yeah. But yeah, I like Cloud Planet's champion is a rank. Like if we were ranking the commander guy, the Cloud from the Cloud X Soldier is also a rank. It's like unfortunately.
I agree. I think there are but I still love him. But anyway,
Cloud is definitely protagonist number one as far as the general population goes when it comes to Final Fantasy games.
Well, I think we're going to go off on a tangent here, and we're at the 3-hour mark nearly. But I think that has to do with Seven's overarching theme of identity, and a really good way to show this is with Sephiroth and with Cloud as character designs. As well as, I think I did a post about this on Blue Sky as well, but in the game, Cloud is designed as this young soldier. He's a bit forlorn and tired, but he's asymmetrical. He's young. He's shorter than Sephiroth. He has short spike hair. Sephiroth is taller. He's got the look on his avatar as a soldier who's seen far too much, and he is beautiful. He is symmetrical. He is the polar opposite in every way to Cloud. And they do this in this set as well, the way that Cloud is 2 mana and a 2/1, where Sephiroth is 3 mana and a 3/3, like harkers back to like the inherent experience one has over the other, and the asymmetrical design of Sephiroth being able to overpower the party, where Cloud has to get an equipment and then he's able to get more out of it because I'm going on it. I'm getting into Buster Sword territory. I'm going to stop talking. But there's just like lots that you could talk about here, clearly. I think the identity thing and the anti-capitalist message relates to a lot of people with Seven. That's what resonates with me. Definitely, I'm finding myself, and also fuck the man is very much
it's very pertinent.
Angsty John eras. But anyway,
affairs. Yes.
We are going to call it there because it is going on a little longer than we anticipated. It turns out we have more to say about these cards than we originally thought. So we will pick this back up soon. I think this was our first attempt at this, so I think we'll iron things out. And then
hopefully, sets going. Hopefully, Edge of Eternities will have a lot less legends in it.
Yeah, there's a lot here.
We will come back. I hope you all have enjoyed this first attempt at a kind of like vidcast podcast format or review format as well. I've enjoyed this immensely. Turns out, I like
same.
talking about Magic cards. Who'd have thunk?
Yeah, these are like two. You know that pineapple pen guy.
Yeah,
is that set for me.
So what this has taught me is I need to look at these cards in anger before sitting down at this screen.
Yeah, I think this has been a fair tier so far. Telia, I think we've been fair and objective.
I think so. Like, what genuinely, what will be interesting is comparing, because I haven't watched because every time the new set comes out, Commander Clash, Toma does a tier review. I haven't watched that video yet. I will be interested to see what our thoughts versus his thoughts actually end up being. Like, how similar are our rankings, and hopefully they're quite different. Because if all content creators thought exactly the same way, it would be a very dull play.
Yeah, it definitely would be. Right, folks, on that note, we are definitely going to call it a night here. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, though, we are back tomorrow with Amara, aka Goddess of Blunder, and Giraffinat. Martin and I will be sleeving up our Final Fantasy decks, except for Martin, who's going to be doing it over Moxfield, did you say?
Moxfield, yes.
Yeah. So tune in for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. I'll be sending out the deck list tomorrow. And big thank you to our quartermasters again. We love doing this sort of stuff. And a big part of the reason why we get to do this is from our quartermasters who support us either through our Patreon, an Amazon Prime free Twitch subscription, or paid Twitch subscription. If you have enjoyed this and you are in a position to support us in either one of those ways, we would deeply appreciate it. But also, you get to join the ranks of some incredible friends of ours. You get to join the Quartermaster only section in our Discord, get entered into Quartermaster only giveaways, get your name on the credit reels at the end, which I've added onto the stream here too. Lots of cool stuff. One of the newer things that we've been doing is trying to encourage our quartermasters to think of weird ways to engage with our Chat Chaos game. So that's another reason that they get to think of a redemption, and then we'll put that into the game, and you get to see if that makes my head explode or not. So we will see you tomorrow, and we will pick this back up. We'll work out when we're going to do this.
Stay tuned to our socials and such. Follow John at Brazen Coalition Games on Blue Sky. Is probably the best way to follow us.
Or on YouTube. I've been putting a lot of this stuff on there. Instagram, TikTok-ish. I'm terrible at doing those things. I should do them more. But we are technically there.
Notifications in Discord if you're on the Discord server.
Yeah, or join the Discord. Yeah, that is actually the best way to get involved. We chat. We try to get more games in. We'll be doing community nights at some point in the future when a few more people have shown interest in games and stuff. Get involved. It's a lot of fun in the Discord. Right. I'm going to stop talking. We are going to go to the outro, and we're going to see you tomorrow. See you later, folks.
Take care, everyone. Bye.